down, you turn me inside out. Give it love instinctively. We are here. Get your mind in the gutter. The outliers are here for another episode. I had to get a stream in today. Who we got up in here? Moose. Yeah, the Cash App. Oh, is there a Cash App button I can put? I think I have the link in the description, but if there's a way to put a little button, that's even better. Because you know, Cash App and Ko-Fi don't take the 30% out that YouTube does. So it's actually a better way to support content creators. But YouTube gives you the fun of super chat and memberships and stuff like that. Antlers do cost money. I'm about to find out how much when I replace these. So welcome, Moose. Let's see, plasma. Yeah, we did. Did we have a stream last night? It was quite. It's lots of It was more in the old style of the show. Lots of philosophical and political conversation. Speakeasy dropped by, and we got a lot of new people because some of his crew came over. So it was a fresh, interesting mix. I really enjoyed it. In fact, I'm back for more. So bring on the philosophy. Bring on the depth. The conversation that the nerds and the spurgs and the outliers used to come here for. Oh, and good, like, listen to this news. Y'all, I'm 17 away from my 1K, and I want to do that disco party, that shirtless disco party thing. Moose,
What's going on, dude?
what's up? Just doing my
Just
it's my Sunday, so it feels like a weekend.
chilling. It's my
How you
day
doing?
off. Tired, recharging.
Oh, you hanging out? Are you at your house?
Yeah, yeah.
You look it looks like the job's making you younger or something.
Younger? Holy.
Usually at 8, that kind of stress ages a person.
Other people say I look older.
Mm.
I don't know. It's all right.
Yep.
Got more gray in the beard.
That's that wisdom coming in.
Oh yeah. You get that dealing with dumbasses. Um.
Well,
So you said bring up some good stuff. I was reading an article today about these guys went to Chat GPT to see like what it would say if all the wealth was redistributed in America from the higher ups to everyone, and we all had equal value. And it was quite an interesting thing
like
because,
communism.
like, I guess that would be communism, right? But what if everybody started like on an equal foot? Like all the wealth was redistributed, and everybody just got like 600,000. Well, it would. It says that it would increase like inflation because people would like pay off their debts, and people would buy new houses and cars and shit. And so it would raise all the prices like in the short term, and it would cause like a world like the stock market would be all fucked up. And then but like it said it would like erase poverty. It would like totally eradicate poverty, and so there wouldn't be a bunch of people sleeping on the streets and shit like that. But like I'm actually not sure that's true, so that's what I wanted to bring up.
That's a good topic. I don't know either because we're just modeling the future. But um, my first thought would it would completely disable society if everybody suddenly had $600,000. There'd be no incentive to perform some of the roles and functions that we need to keep society running. And so I think the bottom part of the infrastructure, the human infrastructure that upholds society, would just collapse.
Well, it accounts for that too. It says that like government would have to step in and incentivize like certain essential positions like nursing and firefighting and stuff like that. And then over time, people would uh, they would want to go back to work for purpose or something like that. Purpose. What's up, Melanie? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Miss
Hello,
Fox.
hello.
Maybe yeah. I think you're like a what extreme ultra leftist. You could weigh in on this. Are you a communist?
I wouldn't say I'm extreme, but yeah.
Okay, that's a little mixed message. You are a communist?
I'm post-communist. I think
What
we
is?
can do even better than communism.
Oh, how? That's
But
kind of what Moose is talking about.
well, actually, it kind of loops back to communitarianism and kind of scaling things down.
You don't think we need the scale that we have now, like to keep the globe
Oh no, it's incredibly wasteful. Did you know
functioning?
that
Like,
we waste 66% of the food we produce before it even hits supermarket shelves?
yeah, like with all the stuff going on, that doesn't seem that big of a priority. How would you do it differently?
Well, there's a lot going on. I would say, like, we need like an ecological framework for one thing that understands us as players in an ecology, not just like consumers in a market, if you know what I mean. So we need a more holistic understanding of human nature and why we do what we do, instead of it being like, how can we get people to buy more of my product?
What would be an example? Like what would look different than from today?
Uh, it's a lot of detail. It would be hard to know exactly where to start without like a precise question.
Well, just an example of what you're talking about of doing it differently than treating people like consumers. Like, is there somebody currently out there doing this type of ecological envisioning and
I
awareness?
think that's what I don't know if you've ever seen the show Petticoat Junction. Didn't
The
age
old
well,
one?
but it kind of shows what I call a railroad economy, which is just a tight knit group of people, and they have this one rail line and a train that goes back and forth, and it keeps everybody chugging along all day. No pun intended. And when the big rail company comes in and tries to change it, they're like, "Nah, fuck this," because that's their livelihood. And I think that same kind of livelihood, where your community comes together around a sort of a goal, right? A hypothesis of how a community ought to operate, whether it's implicit or explicit. Uh, that's an ideal to me. Right now, I don't think we're being experimental enough. I don't think we're actually trying new things. We're taking a lot of things for granted, like capitalism.
You mean the free market?
Oh,
Just the
no,
market
we don't have free
economy?
markets. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, it's
Th-
mixed
There,
market, but
there,
it's
there is a
relatively.
problem here, Melanie. It's with scale, isn't it?
Right, that's what I was gonna say.
That's the
Like, what
huge
your
problem
idea
here.
is not
You
that
know,
wild at a
yeah,
certain scale, but
yeah,
society has
exactly.
grown beyond the scale at
And there we go.
which
Yeah,
that's feasible.
yeah. By trying to scale down in terms of that, that's like the WEF stuff, isn't it? If we remove, 95% of the human population and then have automatons doing our work, because that's where it's going essentially, especially with
Yeah.
food production. It is going. It's
First of
heading.
all, we have automation, and if we could actually like apply that to a local scale, like a single food producer can still produce a lot more for a whole lot of people. Secondly, um, so I'm not in one of these, unfortunately, but I've seen housing communities where it's literally like all these people are in the same building, but they're also technically all co-owners of the building. So they'll do meetings, they'll do all sorts of like community activities, and they feel like an actual community. Whereas like the building I'm in, I'm just a renter, right? And I think that part of it is understanding that like a lot of people feel disenfranchised from this because it's not a part of our community anymore. It's like the Dollarama down the road is not a part of my community.
W- What was there before that you did feel like was part of your
Maybe a
community?
movie theater, maybe a park. There's a lot of different things that can be more community building than less.
And the reason probably these things have changed is because of time and immigration. And
Oh, I
and
definitely don't think it's immigration.
well,
Not
no,
even that one was weird to
well
me.
It's a
there's
bit of a
clearly
leap.
been
It's a bit of a
studies on
leap.
this. No,
No,
I mean
I
it's
think it's
very
capitalism.
well.
I think when we incentivize people to build franchises and stuff like that, and we particularly incentivize chasing profit rather than providing services,
Well,
then
we happen to have a franchise manager on the panel with us right now. What are your thoughts, Moose?
well, if I could just quickly finish,
Well,
I think it robs us of our humanity when we're chasing
Well,
profits rather than.
here's my thing though. I can worry about my own humanity, and you can worry about your. I don't need you like babysitting my humanity and deciding what's good
Well,
for
you're
us.
talking on an individual level. I'm talking on a
Yes,
more communal level,
you don't have the
where
authority to talk on a communal level for anybody but
none of
you
us do.
and your little
But
community.
still, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I think on a communal level, we're being robbed of our humanity and having that replaced with like a branded identity. That's all.
Moose, do you find that to be the case? Are you losing your humanity?
I don't know about the humanity part. I mean, I work a lot, so like, yeah, it kind of sucks. But I think that chasing the profits over people is like a fucking definite. Like, it's a definite. They don't give a fuck. As long as they make their money, and because they're not there, there's no emotional connection to the people that actually work for them. So like, it doesn't matter if you die. Like, there's just gonna be some other asshole that comes and fills that position, because all they're doing at that point is putting money towards something so that way they can get money in return.
Hmm.
And I get that. That's what investing is, I guess.
And by the way, that's not even like my own original idea. That comes from a documentary called "The Century of the Self" by Adam Curtis. Jeff, I can post it in the side if you're interested in it.
Sure, you could post it. I'll drop it in
He's
the
a
chat.
very good documentarian too.
Sounds like
Adam
propaganda
Curtis is
already,
amazing.
but
You should watch his
I'll
stuff,
put the
Jeff.
link
Honestly,
out there for people that want to check
and
it
also
out.
with Melanie, that's why I thought you were bringing that up. Is Ayn Rand, isn't it? She brought that notion into play there. Atlas struggles, isn't it? Is
Oh,
where
Atlas Shrugged.
yeah, Atlas shrugs. That's the one. It's the whole thing of us being able to understand our most wanted needs, and the greed within us. That's just the id, isn't it? The id and the ego, and that's the
Well,
problem as in the West, especially. You mentioned with capitalism. I mean, the schools of thought have held back because of the old guard, and that now that this is being rewritten over with machine learning and AI, that is coming to the forefront. It's happening. It's done. We can't
I,
stop this
I
railroad.
I only take issue with one thing that was said there, which is that kind of like the notion that humans are inherently greedy. If you look at like the animal kingdom, we are some of the most altruistic beings out there. Um, so
Yeah,
I don't
only,
think
but
that's a
only
fair
when
thing
you
to
have,
say about humanity.
but only when you have what you have. If you take a human and start starving that human, or any, or number, or mass, believe me, we become very violent very quickly and forget our moral compass completely because of starvation. It changes
That's
your mind.
partially true.
It
So
is
I would
true.
agree
It's
with
not
you
partially
that an
true.
individual who's put through that would go through that, but actually what we tend to see is either more mixed results or more altruism in groups of people who go through suffering. Like they'll work together to make it easier on each other.
What's your background? You sound like you might have college education or something.
I've never, unfortunately, been to secondary
Oh,
education, and as far as high school, I had a lot of mental problems that got in the way. But since then, I've had a mentor who's been teaching me STEM. So he's a biochemical engineer, and then I've kind of spread out on
oh.
my own to learn psychology and stuff. Because if I can understand my own mind, then I can probably help myself in
What
a
have
lot of
you learned
ways.
about your own mind, especially
Uh
like with the transgenderism?
oh,
Because I imagine
just
that's a big part of it.
it's a big part of what.
Your mind, like understanding your mind.
Well, no, if anything, I'm trying to get to a point where I don't think about the fact that I'm transgender very often.
Oh, that's interesting because that's kind of the opposite of what I
What do
see
you think
from
about the
most.
fact that you're a man very often?
No,
Right. So
or that
like I'm
I'm
not
gay or
trying to be
any of the
that
other
much
stuff.
different from what like other people do.
Because the activists seem like they want the opposite. They want everybody thinking about it all the time, 25 hours a day.
Well, yeah, and liberalism can be kind of feckless, especially like from our perspective, we get tokenized by the liberals who take it
Mm-mm. We
who
Wait,
in
weren't
wait.
even
some
paying
ways.
Who's
attention to y'all. Y'all
our?
tokenized yourselves.
Okay, so I don't think you can speak about
You're
all
not a
trans people that
person
way.
persecuted. I was there though when your narrative started, and that's not how it happened. You're not a
You
persecuted
were
minority.
there
Y'all
when our
stood up
narrative
and
started.
painted the biggest, brightest target on yourselves you possibly could. And
Where
then you
and
want to
when did our
pretend like
narrative
y'all were
start?
innocently minding your business.
Where and when did our narrative start?
It started
Well,
about the time of gay marriage,
the thing
when
is,
all of a sudden the trans agenda became replaced. Once we got the marriage, the trans agenda immediately replaced
Do you know about the
the
Stonewall riots?
give me
yeah.
one sec. Correct me
Do
if
you
I,
know that sorry, I just want to ask Jess one quick thing. Did you know that the Stonewall riots were actually started by a trans woman?
Yeah, that's see, that's what I'm talking about, a narrative. You're buying into these propaganda narratives, and I don't know how to get you as
I
an individual out of them without knowing you better. I can just recognize that you're in one. Go ahead,
okay,
Moose. What did you
so
want to say?
my
wait,
question,
I don't think that's very
que-
good critical
Well, I
thinking.
want to hear. Well, I don't care what you think about my thinking. I'm okay with my thinking. I'm very good at it. I do it all the time, and I have streams and streams of me doing it to
I
back it
think you're
up. Go
buying into
ahead, Moose.
cisnormative narratives.
all right, real quick,
Moose.
real quick. Are you like, because what I was taking from Melanie is that she does not, she, that identifies as whatever Melanie identifies as, and is not connected to the greater group of the people on the front lines. Because what I'm hearing is like, I could be totally wrong, but there's those conservatives and there's liberals that are out there that are like fanatics, and they're out there, getting in everybody's face, making the other side hate them and stuff. And so, like, I don't know if she identifies with those greater groups is all I was saying.
Yeah, so a lot of like the push for like trans rights activism and stuff like that, there were trans people involved with it, but they could also be liberals, came from like the Democrats and from the Liberal Party here in Canada, because for them it became a like first the right wing started as a wedge issue, but then for Democrats it was a way to fight the right wing on grounds that we actually kind of win on. And when I say we, I just mean not the right. So it was kind of hijacked from us in a sense where like we were definitely tokenized by Democrats who only wanted to show like the best parts of us because they were afraid that like any sort of flaw or imperfection in a trans woman or trans person, makes them vulnerable by proxy. When that's really not the case. Like trans people are diverse. We're obviously flawed, just as flawed as everybody else. So that's a ridiculous narrative to have about us in the first place.
It's identity
But it
politics,
seems like the
isn't it, that they play?
Are you saying it was hijacked by the activists, like from within the community itself, by activists?
Well, not all activists, because that's, an activist is an individual person. But I'd say I would say only like real leftists truly understood what the fight was, whereas Democrats don't necessarily understand the fight. They just want to win against, in case of Democrats, against Republicans, or in general, the liberals want to win against the conservatives.
So the trans agenda, the actual from the community, and the Democrat agenda, does it perfectly aligned.
Yeah, there's some
It's
overlap,
like
but
a
it does not perfectly
political
align. Yeah.
partnership of convenience. What does the trans community want for
It
themselves?
depends heavily on which trans person you ask.
So
Actually,
even the community hasn't settled. It's like not unified on one. Like, because I remember in the gay community, we were fighting for marriage. We had like this list of very specific things we could all agree that we were fighting for. Does the current trans community
no, that's
have
not true.
anything?
By the way, there were gay people who had adopted their
Yeah, I was there. I
significant
know there
other.
was the fringe, like queer.
No, it's
majority,
not.
but
This isn't queer. There are actual gay people who had adopted their significant other who pushed back on gay marriage because if they did that,
yeah, that
then
was the
that would have all been
fringe,
for nothing.
the anti-assimilationist movement. But that was not the majority. So I'm just talking about the majority of the mainstream
But no, there's what
gay
I'm saying is that
advocacy
there's
movement.
always like this group doesn't come together because we agree. We come together because we are
But we agreed on
defiant of some
enough
sort of
things to
norm.
come together and unite and get them accomplished because we did. So that's what
No,
I'm talking
that's
about. Does the
activism.
current? So I guess the answer is no, or you would just tell me what they are. Right? Instead, you're dancing around the question. So that
No,
already
I'm
gives
trying to
me my
explain to you like
answer.
what you're thinking of it as is activism first and then being trans.
No,
The
I
fact that
just
we're
asked if you have a set of very specific objectives that the
the thing that
community
unifies all trans
is
people is
trying to
that
achieve together. Otherwise, the community is
Can I
not
say
even
something for a
unified.
second, please? The
Hmm.
fact that we're not unified by having a hive mind. We're unified by the fact that we do not fit into a common narrative about humanity that takes for granted assumptions like someone will identify with their genitals. Therefore, a trans person can have wildly different beliefs than I do, and it's because like nobody ever said you're trans and you're trans because you have the same belief. That all that was said was this default of someone identifying with their genitals does not account for the natural variation, and we are the natural variation. Again, there's
Yeah,
nothing
but
about
I don't
agreeing
think
with
most
each
people
other
have
in
a
that.
problem with that part of it. And
But
also, many people don't fit into the common narrative, but not all of us have the mental issues over it that the trans community seems to have. So
mm,
what? That's why I'm asking what you need from the rest of the world. What does the trans community want? And I can't even get that answer out of you. So I don't know how you're going to accomplish whatever if they involve any kind of collaboration with the larger society, unless you just want to isolate and separate.
well, you're not getting answers from me
If
because
you
your
can't even
framing is
articulate
disingenuous.
what you want from us, I don't know how you're going to get that accomplished.
Well, you're not getting the answers you want from me because your framing is bad
Because you're
faith.
not giving them to me.
No,
I'm
because your
asking very
framing is
simple
bad faith.
questions that I would ask any group that was advocating for some kind of rights.
So if I were to come to you and ask, why don't you always agree with other white people? Wouldn't that sound a little ridiculous?
Yeah, probably, but that's not what I asked you.
Oh, you kind of
I
did.
even gave an example of another community, the gay community, that had specific
And that didn't
objectives
pan
and how
out to
they
be true, as I
got it
demonstrated.
accomplished.
And that didn't pan out to
So
be
my
true, as I
point is,
demonstrated.
you don't have like a little elevator pitch thing to begin with of what your community's even after. So
Yeah, trans people are
I don't know what
complex.
kind of progress you're looking for from the rest of us.
Oh, well, I can tell you personally what I think would help based on the dysphoria, because if everyone started calling you a female and trying to tell you were a
It wouldn't
female,
bother me. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I'm not that
even
fragile
the
and neurotic.
reinforcement, the social stigma, feeling outed all the time, feeling
I don't
shamed
care
for.
about your feelings. That's your
Well, I don't
feelings are
think you,
not a civic responsibility of mine.
I don't think you're correct. I think if people tried to treat you like you were a different gender when you knew what you were inside, that wouldn't be something that you'd be comfortable with, and it would
Now,
become increasingly
people
more
have been treating me
distressful.
all kind of bad ways my whole life and calling me horrible things, and it's not bothered me. I don't internalize stuff from other straight when I know different. Like I know the real
It's
truth
never
about me.
bothered you.
No. So
See,
it could be a resiliency or mental health thing. But I
see,
don't
this is
know
where I think you need to
what
learn
you
to
want
speak for
from the rest
yourself.
of society as a result, because I don't care about your feelings. So if
See,
I don't
this is
care
where I
about your
think you need to.
feelings, you can't
Cool.
ask me for any kind of solution that involves your feelings.
Well,
So
again,
what else
you
can we
can't do
do?
anything personally, but this is where I think you need to learn to speak for yourself. Much how like I can be here
I
and I
just
can
did.
handle people misgendering me, but that doesn't mean that every trans person ought to handle that.
But
That's not a fair
I mean,
assumption.
if they want to survive in society, they should. Every other adult learns to handle it. Why? What do they want? Like to be coddled and babied their whole
Actually,
life?
have you seen how many people have anxiety?
I don't care about that stuff because I
It
work
kind
in
of
mental
disproves
health.
what you
I
said again.
know what the
It kind of
options are
disproves what
out
you
there
said
to
again,
treat
Jeff.
anxiety, and it's not that difficult. So you're not
Well,
going
you
to
said
make me think that
everyone's managing
anxiety
just
is the
fine.
crisis because it's
No.
not.
You're wrong. You're wrong because you said everyone's managing just fine, and then I point out people
I
have
didn't say that. So
anxiety,
you're wrong because you can't
which kind
even
of makes points out
quote
that
me
your
correctly.
reference
I
point
didn't
is only
say what
people
you
who are
said that I said.
visible.
Welcome,
Your
friend.
reference point is only people who are visible, and you don't have any fucking clue about people who aren't successful because they're not visible.
No, because they can't even articulate themselves. So how do they want visibility where they can't even
Hmm.
express what it is that they want?
Well, see, I don't think you can handle nuanced answers because I'm trying
No,
to give you a
that's not what
nuanced
you
answer,
say.
which isn't
Oh,
just
okay.
an
Well, let me hear
easy
from
bake oven
Frank
type
and
of
see what
output where you can just stick something in, get something out. That's not how reality works. Reality is complicated.
I
For
don't need
complex
reality
questions comes
clarified to me
complex answers, not
especially by
simple
you, someone
answers.
who's not even clear about their own reality.
Oh no, it's
So
very
Jeff,
clear. It's very clear that like the assumptions society made about identifying with your genitals up until the existence of trans
You're
people
more
was
obsessed
acknowledged.
than that than I've heard society be.
Right.
I've
Okay,
heard
but
it
I'm just gonna
more from
finish.
you than any part of society.
Right, but it's very clear cut that assumption was mistaken, and that is what trans people are pushed against. Whether it's being done as a form of activism or they're just merely
Well,
trying to
they
exist.
suck at it, and they should take lessons from the gays that did it
Well, that's because
successfully.
you want us to be an
It's not
activist.
working out very well for them.
That's because you're trying to make the trans community into what you want it to be instead of listening to what we
No, I'm
actually
just
are.
saying whatever you just describe what you're trying to do, like what you're trying to get from society, like this understanding or something. And I'm telling you, you're doing it very poorly because they're not only are they not giving you the
That's like your
understanding.
opinion, bro.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at like the Supreme Court ruling and all the conversations and
Hmm.
discourse after that. Like society is
Is that proof
really
that
kind of
trans
over the
is
trans
that
thing.
proof
So
that
your
trans activism
whatever
isn't
message
working?
you yourself just said, you're trying to get through to society is
Okay,
not
2
getting through.
points.
just from
3
looking at what
points.
society is saying.
You're making 4 points now. You want to make 4 points for me to respond to? Okay, so with the
I'll make
with
as
the
many
Supreme
as I
Court
want. If you
ruling,
can't
with the
handle them,
Supreme
you
Court
can
ruling, we
respond
have
however
no
you want after
idea.
that. But you're not
With
going
the
to tell me
Supreme
how
Court
many points I
ruling,
can make just because
with
of
the
the
Supreme
limitations
Court
of your
ruling, I
brain.
don't think
Go
you
ahead.
have an idea if that's a result of right-wing narratives just becoming more powerful because, as the leftist says, fascists will try to claim more and more power, or if that's trans activism failing. Because, by the way, I try to be politically literate because that does impact a lot of the debates that I have, and I've seen a lot more right-wing influence and money go into that kind of outcome than trans activists actually contributed to it directly. In fact, the Supreme Court ruling mentioned very few trans activists and a lot of right-wingers.
Okay, Frank, welcome.
Thank you.
Any thoughts? I wanted to let you get
Oh,
in while
man.
you can. And Vinny as well.
Salute, Jeff.
Moon, I finally found a trans person. And we're going to, this is not even our real conversation. We're going to actually have a sit down in the future. But they just
I
hopped
bet you
on
will.
panel
Would you
today
go to the same
participate
place,
in
Jeff?
the regular conversation.
And by the way, since it's your show, it'd be easier if you reached out with the time that you want stuff. I'm generally free, except for like singular days
How
of the
much
week.
notice do you need?
Oh, for this issue, not a lot. It depends how prepared you want me to be.
No, I mean, no, you seem pretty, well, except for being able to answer that question, you seem pretty articulate. You're articulate about like the general theories behind it, but when I try to get specifics,
Well, again, that's
it
because
can be
I
very
can't speak for
difficult.
all trans people, nor can
But
you.
well, then it
can't
doesn't
speak for
sound
all
like the
white
trans
people. Hang
community
on.
is the community they want us to think it is.
No, I think you want
If it's
trans
just a
people to be a
clump of
hive mind.
individuals that all want their own thing, then there's no reason to even take it seriously as a community.
So I think you want it to be a hive mind for a convenience of narrative, but that convenience of narrative
No, I
is
just
actually
want
what
it
hurts
for
us.
what every other group
That's
has,
exactly
like
what
a mission
liberals
statement,
do.
a set of none of that is that bizarre to ask for.
That's exactly what liberals
And the fact
do.
that you have to fumble and are still fumbling to try to give me something
It's not fumbling
is
to try to
already
help
telling
you
me.
understand your framing
It's
issue.
already making the impression that I need to sway me.
Okay, so who's really the one fumbling here? The person who has to correct the
person that can't
correct the
answer the
framing
question.
issues. The person who
Frank,
has to
go
correct
ahead.
who's really fumbling? The person who has to correct the framing issues, or the
You
person
are,
making the
sir,
framing
ma'am.
issues?
Do you
I think it's the person making the framing issues. That would be you, Jeff.
No. I know you want to externalize all your problems with everybody else, but it is
Like
not
you
me.
want
And the
trans people
stream,
to be a hive
anybody that
mind.
watches the stream will be able to see that. I want to hear from Frank. Go ahead.
But it
Jesus
seems to me like you
fucking
want
No,
trans
not
people
Frank.
to be a hive
Frank.
mind, which is externalizing your
You're not Frank. I wanna hear
simple-minded
from
way
Frank.
of approaching things.
Frank.
Oh God, you progressive fucking woke people are all the fucking same. You keep fucking yabbing without making any fucking substance.
Well, you always want to have the last word, but
The
here's
word
the thing: is
salad,
like
He didn't get to talk yet.
you're clearly coming from a point of ignorance.
Oh my God, this person is deluded. I know that's a stereotype about trans people, but I work in mental health. This is actual delusion happening in front of our eyes. You can
If you
check
can't
it
acknowledge that
by
you're coming
watching
from a
the
point of
stream
ignorance
back.
here, then I'm not going to be able to give you any of the answers you want to hear.
No, but that is the
But
thing
you
with
look
you
at
guys.
If you can't track reality, you're
Get
not
him,
going to be
Frank.
able to give me the answers.
Yeah, so tracking reality might be like understanding something.
that-
Like
that
you
is
used
the
to have a
thing.
narrative.
Like you talk so fast that 9 out of 10 words you don't even understand. That you
Okay,
need
so
to
go back
fucking
to the
Google.
stream and hit 0.5 times speed, and then when you can finally learn to listen to.
No, but
fast
that is the
speed,
thing. You are
then
trying to
then
make
you can.
sense.
Why
and
don't you
make
come back
sense.
on here when you can?
Well,
when you
I
can catch
tried
up?
to. I didn't even have a word in.
But you're not going to be able to keep up, right? I'm just saying, if you need it on 0.5 per times speed, then you need to go back to the stream.
Hey,
and put it
Melanie,
on
why
the-
don't you just quiet down for a second? Let the men talk.
Can I ask an actual question?
Shut up, you fucking African.
when you frame things
I
as
can't
here's
do
what
that.
you're doing
I'm a
wrong,
white
you
one.
put someone on the defensive, right? So you can't complain when someone
You
defends
Africans
you.
Why
are
can't
all
you
the
do?
same.
Why is your inability to answer questions the result of something that somebody else is always doing? Why can't
Why
you
is your
just
inability to ask questions
answer a
my
question
fault?
like any
Because-
other normal person would be able to do?
Because you're progressive.
Yes, if it is your fault that you cannot do
When
something.
did you
It's
stop
not
beating
someone
your
else's
wife,
fault.
Jeff? When did you stop beating your wife?
He's
I
gay.
don't have a wife.
Oh, so you don't. So that would be a poorly framed question, right? Because it assumes things.
Yeah, but my questions are not poorly
okay,
framed,
cool.
so that's a bad example of my questions because I
Frank's
asked
getting
perfectly
animated.
cogent and legitimate
No, again,
questions
your
that
question
anybody should be
assumes
able to
all trans
answer. I
people
mean,
are
and I
hive
have
mind.
here's the thing: I have like 800 something streams proving
Frank's
me
laughing
doing
too
that.
hard.
So again, your question assumes all trans
So
people
you're
are
like the
hive
one
mind.
exception of all of that the entire pattern.
So again, your question assumes all trans people are hive mind, and I can make an answer that magically fits for all trans people. That's your first.
How can
assumption.
you say that? You just said that you fucking talk for yourself.
Now, I'm not being asked questions about myself. I'm being asked what to do about all trans people.
No, you couldn't
Communism
answer
is
that.
It's literally impossible. I'd be speaking for people I don't know.
Then why the fuck are you still doing it?
I'm trying to explain trans issues from a broader perspective that doesn't rely on the singular.
Hang on. No, you're gaslighting now, dude, because you said there's no trans issues because they don't all think alike. They're not a hive mind. So when I ask you about trans issues, you slip and slide around like you do and say there's no. But then you claim to be on here trying to explain the very thing I'm asking you about. You are doing mind fuckery, sir.
No, you asked about solutions, which again, I'd have to speak for what people want and what would work for individual people. The issues that affect trans people versus other groups of people are very unique. So yes, there are trans issues.
Then what does it work for trans people? Because I'm pretty sure that just 5 minutes ago you said that you are a solo individual and that you can only answer those questions for yourself. So what does it work
When it
for
comes
trans
to solutions, yeah, it's very hard to know what will work for everybody.
Well, I think the answer is very different because it only works for yourself, right? Because you only could talk for yourself, therefore the solution is only for yourself. So
especially in terms of solutions, yes.
Yeah, well, therefore you ask for yourself. So therefore you cannot possibly speak for the entire trans community, could you?
No, I can speak on other things. Like again, trans issues are something that are unique to trans people.
Listen to what I said, because obviously you are kind of deaf because you said you could not.
Are you projecting right now? Just basically,
let him finish.
I'm not. You could not speak for the entire trans community, and apparently you're speaking for the entire trans community. So
yeah, so when you understand that solutions are something where you have to consider what actually works for people versus issues that are unique
that
to
is why you're already wrong, because those are solutions that only work for yourself, since you're only speaking for yourself.
Versus issues that are unique to a group, you can talk to as
means he doesn't have an answer.
Hold on. Now you're certainly talking about a group. Why, for a second, you
Are you
were
sure
just
you're not
talking
just?
about
I
yourself?
think you're the one getting confused.
No, I'm pretty sure that I'm not.
I think you're demonstrating cognitive dissonance.
I know. I'm pretty sure that you are, because you're
this is bordering on evil, dude. With the gaslighting. This
likewise, I can say the same thing about you, especially because you're the one coming from a point of ignorance.
Well, we have a trans mic with us right now.
How is it ignorance if you obviously are lying? Because you are.
I'm obviously lying.
You're obviously lying. You are.
No,
because
you found an inconsistency. An inconsistency is not an obvious lie, and it's a consistency that comes from your misunderstanding of what.
See, this is what they tried to warn me about last night about the fox, and I said no.
Yeah.
That you have to actually be good at that. You have to actually ask good faith questions and be able to handle the answers.
I asked good faith questions.
Remember what I said?
You think I didn't? That's just more of your delusion.
Remember what I said to them though? I also when they said that, I said if you can't handle nuance, then yeah, you certainly.
But I didn't get anything.
Yeah, you got nuance.
It was so nuanced it was not even visible.
Hold on.
So Jeff,
if you want to fucking talk nuance, then you need to be right in your nuance.
Jeff, what is the cure for all cancer? Jeff, what is the cure for all cancer?
I don't know. I don't think there is a cure for cancer yet.
But is there? Wait, is cancer not something that's unique to people who have cancer? So can we not speak to people who have cancer as having a disease, even though we can't speak to what solutions they might need necessarily based on that?
A lot of people can speak to, and they can certainly speak to what they would like to see happen with the cancer.
See, this is again the point that I'm making.
Which was what I was asking.
Right. So the solution for trans people is to be healthier then.
But you just said
I personally I would recommend that as the solution for anybody going through adversity and distress.
So your question forces a vacuous answer.
So it's not even a trans thing. It's an individual thing. It's a personal thing. It's a human thing. Self-empowerment, resiliency, anti-fragility, that kind of stuff.
Jeff.
So you won't be so at the mercy of everybody else like you seem to be.
See, another problem with your assumption is assuming that all trans people need a solution. Not all trans people need.
I didn't say that.
They're
You're the
very
one that
happy.
brought up the word solution. I didn't say solution in my question.
You literally
You're
said
the one that
what
reframed it as solution.
No, you reframed it when
I
you
just
put it
asked
into
what
gay
y'all
people
wanted
fought
from
for something that you
society.
found to be cogent, which was
You
gay
saw
marriage.
that as a solution.
When you
I didn't
framed
assume
it,
you wanted solutions from society. I asked you what you wanted.
you framed it as something that needs to be a cogent
I just
demand.
asked the question. If that's too complex for you, we can talk about something else. We don't have to keep looping on this one thing.
Very mature. Very mature. You are a little girl, aren't you now?
I can't wait to finish. I'm just too impatient. I just want to finish what I'm saying.
Who gives a shit?
You framed it as something that needs to be a cogent demand, like gay marriage. Thus, you were actually putting it as it needs to be a solution.
I just know that there's plenty of other people that could have answered the question.
Dude,
so you're not going to convince me that there's some reason.
Are you sure you're not just filling in the gaps with your own ignorance?
It didn't get answered.
Are you sure you're not just filling in gaps with your own ignorance for what your
No, I think you're playing games with somebody who knows all the games and is way above your level, and you're coming off quite clownish.
So it can't just be that maybe you have a low IQ conception of what trans people are fighting for,
in fact, I'm
and thus you're expecting a low IQ answer.
Somewhere,
so again, it can't just be that you have a low IQ conception of what trans people are.
No, it's definitely not the low IQ.
Okay, we're going to try this again. It's fine. I can try again.
You don't get one of those with the low IQ.
I'm just going to make sure to finish so you actually know what you're responding to.
Okay, because all you did was ask the same question, so you want to ask it a few more times, and that's considered
What was my question then, Jeff? What was my question?
If I have a low IQ.
No. Okay, again, listen. Use your active listening here.
Yeah, we know that. There's plenty of. I don't know why I don't know why people come on stream and have that recorded live.
You're motor mouthing. You're not listening. So again, could it just be? Could it just be? Could it just be? Could it just be?
That is the entire thing.
You're still acting really insecure. That's super cool.
No, but
you're really afraid of hearing new things, aren't you?
Why is that?
You're really afraid of hearing new things that weren't already in your head.
Why is he
really
acting
neat.
insecure?
You're really because he's not letting me finish anything I'm going to say.
I'm just sitting here. Don't see they're lying again. I'm just sitting here waiting for them to finish, and they're saying I'm not letting them finish.
You're also not moderating anybody else on the panel. So, Jeff, could it just be that you have an incredibly low IQ?
Always somebody else.
Here we go again. You got to run damage control for him, don't you? More damage control for Jeffy. Oh, that's really sad that you need.
Well, you can circumvent all of that by just giving us the answer we wait.
Jeff, I need some monitoring.
I wouldn't even have the time or attention to write it. I'd be so engrossed in your answer.
Look, just say it with your chest. I'm too afraid to hear your answer, Melanie. I'm too afraid to hear your answer, and I want to be wrong about it. Just
I can feel. I'm sweating. My skins get clammy. I'm
just say it with your chest. I'm a little bit worried about you finishing because it might make.
That's why I keep begging you to give it.
So again, could it just be? And I'm not just calling you low IQ here. So use your active listening. Oh, here we go again. Yep, more insecurity. Cool. So could it just be that? Oh no, yeah, you're gonna be okay.
Are you also ADHD because you're very easily distracted?
Yes, but
I'm here listening.
I'm fascinated.
The ball.
I'm fascinated by the small dick energy here with the.
Okay, but beside that, did you have something you want to say or ask? Because I'm still waiting.
Could it just be that you have a low IQ notion of trans people existing? So when you don't get a low IQ answer, you enter cognitive dissonance.
I don't know. I don't know what your understanding of my understanding is.
Well, you asked a low IQ question that makes assumption about trans people.
How high of an IQ it is.
Well, you made a low IQ assumption that makes assumptions about trans people needing to fight for the same thing as gay people. That's showing that fundamentally.
I never said that. So anybody can go watch the stream.
Yes, you did. You compared it.
Find me saying that.
Yes, you did. No, I can tell you with my mouth. I can tell you with my words right now when you did it. It's when you said that gay people were able to talk about fighting for gay marriage. So why can't trans people come up with cogent demands?
And then it was a parallel example. I didn't say they were fighting
the same thing.
So the fact that you have a standard for that. The right that's your standard for that shows that you see them as a group that's together instead of having their own individuality. And this is why
I did, because the trans community itself calls it the trans community and wants
so do trans people have the luxury?
So I'm just doing what they are trying. That's what I'm saying. Your message is very bizarre.
Do trans people have the luxury? Do trans people have the luxury of reducing our existence down to whether or not we can get married to our partner?
I don't understand what any of that means, but I want to see what Chuck.
Listen,
Chuck, thank you, and let's see.
Did your brain really just turn off? Your brain just turned off right now. Wait, no, did your brain just turn off?
No, you're not going to tell me. I moderate this panel.
Your brain turned off, really?
Chuck,
Internet
turned
billionaire
off?
consultant. I hope they show up.
Chuck,
Look, if your brain turns off that easily, that's an L
Nibs
for
Shut up,
you.
and
Chuck.
That's a huge L.
Frank. You got a membership, Frank.
Hey, thank
Finally, after all those months and months of
you.
hard work, haunting
Now
and
you can go to
trolling
Disney
the
World,
panel.
Frank. Now you can go to Disney World.
All right, where are we at in this conversation, if anywhere?
But okay, Melanie. Why would I call you Melanie though? Let's start off with that one.
You don't really have anything else to call me.
Why not?
I mean, you can call me Furby. That's what everyone else calls me.
Furby?
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
so-
these toys.
I know what a fucking Furby is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I put in the AI prompt. Was literally just Fox Furby, and this was the only one that looked somewhat reasonable. I added the.
Are you a
glasses.
furry as well?
No, I've never been to like furry conventions. And I can't stand the idea of fursuits. I consider myself I'm. There's a weird group, and it depends on how you define this group. But there's a group called Otherkin where I technically identify more with animals than humans. It doesn't mean I think I'm an animal. It just means I relate to them more.
Yeah, I actually understand that. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so fair enough.
Otherkin.
You identify
I
as,
do too with the antlers.
as something or someone else, right?
Well, what's more like my essence? Like I feel like I have a foxy essence. I wouldn't say I identify as a fox. That would be something I'd say when I was younger.
Now, what do you identify as now?
A woman, a trans woman, smart
Okay,
person,
so-
debater, champion
Well,
debater.
But
what
and
do
we
you-
didn't get to talk much about this last night. You talked about feeling like both at one point, like growing up.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah,
Okay,
before I felt pressured to like decide either way,
well,
especially
do you feel pressure? That was my entire point. Do you feel pressure?
to
don't
be a
you?
guy. Yeah,
Well,
there's pressures
why?
from all directions to be a guy because it would be easier.
Because of society?
Pretty much, yeah.
Don't you? Okay, so hold on.
And it's not like I don't think it's a W to admit that like if I was a total loner on an island, my definition of woman could be whatever, and therefore, of course, I'd feel like a woman.
No, that's
What-
fine. But if you feel feel the need to feel a woman, but do you feel that the society needs to feel that perceive you as a woman too?
Depends how much I want to interact with society and how much society wants me to interact with it. Like I'm not being evasive. Like this is just really true. Like
Well,
I could be a shut-in and it wouldn't matter at all, or I can be hyper social and then it would matter a lot.
But that comes back
Doesn't
to my
matter if
question
you-
of what do you want from society, and I didn't get an
I'm
answer.
more of a shut-in, just to be honest. Like I'm
So
more of
just
a
to be
walk
left
alone in the
alone.
woods, or I have my one partner who's also my best friend, and I don't need more than that. I have my cats. Like I'm not.
Well, I can give you that, like just leave you alone and give you space to be yourself. I think most of society could easily give you that.
And this just fills the other side of things where I can kind of be my confrontational self without it actually needing to matter much socially, because I'm not trying to monetize, I'm not trying to have big ups on here or anything. I'm just this is me socializing. This is my love language, funnily enough.
But then again, for a few seconds while we were debating, is that you want to have the last word, right? You want to have your opinion mattered. So I'm wondering what kind of childhood experience that you have that you.
Oh, plenty. But I actually, my philosophy on that is that the person who's more ignorant should cede the last word to the person who's less ignorant.
So that makes you more ignorant than anybody else.
You got too many rules and etiquette. We don't do all that here.
Yeah, man.
I think that's just common sense, right? Like if someone
Well,
knows more
you
than you
did go
about
to your own
something,
panel or go find a panel where that follows that. But when you're on this channel, I'm just trying to set your expectations that's probably not going to happen. So if you think it should
okay.
happen, just
and if you run
adjust
panels, you might get
yourself.
criticized for how you run them.
Yeah, that's.
But
I could-
it's not even that I expect that of other people.
Given. I love Jeff, man. He's great.
I think it's
You're
just
great.
worthy of criticism when you're not willing.
You're great.
Like it makes me question how much somebody wants to learn when they can't let the person who's more knowledgeable.
Well,
on
I
something
learned by
than them.
asking questions, and then if I can't get answers, I don't know how to learn.
That's
from
great.
It. I don't know where
That's
to go.
kind of not what I was talking about. Where again, like if someone can't let someone who's more knowledgeable on something than them finish and have the last word on that thing,
I
then-
think I did.
then they're more
I have
involved,
live recorded evidence.
then they're more
of
involved.
Very generously allowing you to try to do all that. It never happened.
but then
So
they're
you're
more involved.
gaslighting again
I
because
still haven't finished. It's
you
like
didn't
it's such
deliver
a
on
it's such a
your own
simple thing.
promise.
but you make it so hard because you won't let me finish ever. It's incredible.
Okay. Well, I've noticed that you do that a lot to other people too. So maybe you're seeing a little bit of yourself there.
You know,
Well,
You know,
well, no. See,
And you
here's
can
the
see
thing.
that on the stream too. If
See,
you
this
like.
is actually
You're gonna see all
incorporating
kinds of
nuance.
stuff when you watch
This,
back.
see, what I'm doing here is actually incorporating nuance into simplicity. So I'm not saying you should never want the last word. I'm not saying you always should, but if you're more knowledgeable in something, you
I don't
should
even
have the last
count
word.
the words. I don't have to pay. That's a beta thing. I don't have to pay
Ah.
attention to what word is last and where it's
well,
coming from.
Melanie, the thing is that I was just trying to have a conversation with you, and you.
Well, I was also trying to have a
Go for it.
conversation with Jeff, so it was a really bad time to do that.
Okay, so
Well,
you
there's
get
room for
you get
many
to be the
people
one
to have.
to make,
We've done
make
it
that
on here before
conversation, right?
several times.
Well, if you want to talk to
Consistently, in
me
fact.
and I'm talking to someone else, then you might want to wait till I'm ready to talk to someone
Yeah,
else.
or not. Like I said, that doesn't always happen here. This is a channel that's normed for outliers.
No, and
So
it's
if,
like
if you need a very specific type of channel that follows a set of communication etiquette, this is not that channel. That's why I'm informing
that's just
you of this.
constructive. Yeah, no, I'm not demanding you do that. That's just constructive criticism. I
Okay, well,
recognize
it's
that this is
noted.
not my show and I
We
cannot run
can
it.
move on from it if you want.
But you're also going to criticize me on my forum, so it goes both ways.
Hey,
Melanie,
thank you.
you clearly need validation.
Clearly.
There's a lot there that cries out to the world that you are, that goes, see who I am.
But the
It's-
people who
it's
need to,
I mean, no, when it comes to like even, again, we spoke about numbers
Okay.
and scale. Look at the transgender community globally.
wait,
It accounts
what is
for
the relevance?
1% of the
What is the
population.
relevance?
It-
Make
it
sure
is
you got to
relevant.
tie this
No,
back down.
because if you think about like that scale, you guys are asking, if you will, your community are asking for massive overtakes on what we have already with the
Mhm.
Equalities Act around the world and all sorts. You want access to fucking female places, breaking the boundaries of what society has the norms of gender, which is a female and a male. Done. If you
Has a
want to be
male
other
janitor
things,
has a
that's
male
your choice.
janitor ever
You
cleaned a
don't- you don't
female
get to
washroom
go to
before?
those places. They're gyms just
Hey,
for
are
women.
you gonna just ramble,
clubs
dude?
just
Like
for
that's
women.
crazy. Just one thing after the next. Total gish gallop.
Yeah.
That's you. That's you gish galloping.
Plastic African. You know what I don't like is people that are miserable.
I'm so much less miserable after I talk to you people.
Plastic African. I'm dressing Plastic African. Plastic African. I hate miserable people who speak about the same topic every time I see them on panels.
I bet.
I was trying to talk about economics and
That's what I
post
hate,
context
Plastic
stuff.
African. Actually, I
was
don't
trying-
hate it because I don't hate anything.
Because you told me at the beginning of the show, and it's live again, that you were trying to fight for a world where you didn't have to think about being trans all the time, and it wasn't a thing. And I understand that because that's kind of what we were fighting for as a gay community. And so you've done the opposite of that since you've been here. You've pushed trans to the forefront in every single conversation. So it seems like
Well,
you
no, I'm countering
yourself
misinformation.
have some dissonance to work out because you're working at cross purposes to your own self.
I'm countering misinformation. Also, I try to be open about these things. I don't shut people down when they try to ask questions about it. So that would explain maybe your dissonance here.
Okay. Well, if you did want the opportunity to have a space where trans wasn't a thing, you can have that too.
Oh yeah, by the way, in terms of like needing validation, there's one major glaring issue with your reading of me is that I'm been a part of the surfs community a lot longer than this. I could go back and like stream with like Lance from the surfs and be very successful. Like everybody agrees with me. Everybody thinks I'm amazing. Like, and that's not challenging to me. That's not rewarding to me, and I don't feel like I've earned that. I feel like I earn it when I get people.
You don't feel
here
amazing?
Yeah, no. So I was telling someone named Imperious last night that like I am the narcissism, and by the way, it's a performative narcissism that's here to counter people's psychopathy.
That's interesting. That might actually be useful in the pedalverse.
Well, because
so stick
especially
around. We need something like that.
a psychopath cannot imagine somebody who's inferior having a sense of dignity, and that's exactly what I fought for my entire life. So
you
it
feel
only
like you
comes
have
naturally.
one here?
I fight for it. It's hard to say.
I mean, I can tell you this, and I can be honest about it. You have more dignity than some people that come across here. So do know that at least.
Okay, thank you. And I think that that depends if my sense of dignity matters, or if other people's sense of my dignity matters, how much they respect me, right?
Most
And that
people
would
don't
change
care
how-
about your dignity. Just it doesn't, or anybody's really, but their own. It doesn't really occupy their minds. Somebody else's dignity. If they're like outside of an immediate interaction, once they walk away, they're probably not thinking about it much.
I'd agree, but I also think that is a missed opportunity of kind of understanding something about society,
Well,
which is
yeah, that's the
why
world
do
you
we
want to
act?
live in versus
Why
the
do,
world we actually live in, and
why
everybody
do
else
we
lives in.
appreciate when some people stand up for themselves and other people don't? And I think the answer is who we perceive as having more dignity, more of a
The
righteous.
white men. I appreciate it when white men stand up for themselves.
That's
White,
very
straight
edgy. It's
Christian
very
men
brave.
more.
Yeah, that's very edgy and very brave. You're countering the common narrative in 2025.
Yeah, see, I don't even know the common narrative. That's part of the problem. And when I ask what the common narrative is, I'm told there isn't one because there's not even a common core set
Well,
of
if we step
objectives
outside
that
of trans
people are
people,
uniting around. So
if we step
I don't
outside
even
of
know
trans
if
people,
A, what the narrative is, B, if there is one. It seems to me like there's multiple competing narratives.
so if we step outside of the trans, remember how I said with trans people, it's getting rid of the assumption that people will identify with their genitals just by default.
But
So if we
you
step
can't
outside of that,
control what people
just
assume.
Jeff,
So that seems like kind of like a fool's goal to
that's
begin with.
irrelevant to anything I was about to say.
Okay,
How
go
many
ahead.
genders are there?
That's irrelevant to anything I was about to say.
Well, say what you were going to say.
If you're listening. So if we step outside of that of what transgender people necessarily confront, we see that science is starting to teach us more about true human nature, what it really is versus what we just think it is from observation. And a lot of our assumptions can make us wrong if we take them to 100%, if we treat them as absolutes. So what society is kind of undergoing right now is a change of understanding. Is like, oh, we thought all humans were greedy. Well, no, actually, we're some of the most altruistic species on the planet. So how does that make sense? Why are we still treating people like they're greedy?
Because they are. They could be both. And I think acknowledging that they can be both is more realistic than like reducing them to one or the other. And you said through observation of human nature, but I would say through experience of human nature, because we don't just observe it. Human nature is lived out through us and enacted through us every day. So that's more than just observation that we're going off of.
I think that relies too much of a nirvana fallacy. What the reality of it is that humans are always going to be somewhat greedy. You can never expect us to be entirely non-greedy, and that's where the nirvana fallacy would be. And what we have to look at is it's all relative. What are we comparing greed to? Well, we would compare it to something that's more greedy. And I think you can be very greedy. Humans can, like an individual, especially if taught to be, can be incredibly greedy. I'm not saying humans can't be, but we are still one of the most altruistic species out there. When we look back in the fossil record, we see some of our most recent relatives were chewing food for the elderly because they didn't have teeth, and then giving it to them to swallow, which sounds gross.
That's all
but
the fossil.
Yeah, I forget the exact way that they figured it out, but it is pretty fascinating.
That does sound fascinating.
It's because you can always tell what's like in their stomach contents, and so if they don't have teeth, how do they have stuff in their stomach, right?
Science is amazing.
Yeah, lobsters have teeth in their stomach. Did you know that?
No, that's cool.
We have who does?
Crazy. Lobsters are mad, man. When you look at the
Lobsters have
autonomy
teeth
of
in
that.
their stomach.
Yeah.
What? There's somebody in the back called Sorcerer. Does anybody know Sorcerer?
Not necessarily. That's a pretty generic name.
Jeff, if they know the current winning lotto numbers, let them up.
Sorcerer, first you have to flash your cam so I can see that you're a person.
I feel like saying flash your cam might give some mixed messaging.
Oh, well, they could take it how they want.
No.
This is an adult channel, so they got to come with their big boy panties on. And then if you have a channel in the back, go ahead and put your channel. Yeah, this is an unsafe space.
Pull up
It's
your
even in the
bootstraps
description.
coming up here, y'all heard? That's right. That's right. Pull up those bootstraps when you come on, Jeff. That's right.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of babysitting of
Look at Frank's
feelings
face.
here. I leave that to the adults to manage their own emotions.
Salute, Frank. Oh, man, you guys are crazy.
Vinny, what are you smoking tonight?
Nothing. Nature.
I just got done meditating.
Nature.
I just got
How's
done
the nature
meditating
on
for
your
3
computer or
hours.
phone? Yeah.
Plastic African. I'm getting the sun. I
Oh
was
man,
having
yeah.
the
Had enough
sun
of
for
it.
3 hours, bro. Like just fucking meditating and walking. Nice.
Wow.
Did you get any downloads?
Oh, good,
Big
good
time,
man.
Jeff. Big time downloads.
I'm smoking
Good
nature
man.
too, aka weed.
You know, I've been working on walking and meditating. Believe it or not,
At the same time.
Yeah.
Some people
Whoa.
do like a walking meditation.
and listening to music meditation.
Oh,
And
man,
What
I used
music are you?
only
what
Jeff
music goes
panel
with
I
that?
really can. Well, there's a couple other ones, but
Oh,
not
man.
many, that I could
Jeez,
actually vibrate pretty damn high on my flying disc of frequenciness when I'm hanging out on the Jeff X.
Flying disc of frequenciness. You are an interesting person, aren't you?
I'm just me.
Well, based on the words you use, you have a colorful brain.
Yeah, he is
Well, thank you.
interesting.
But yeah, Jeff, you know,
He's beyond trans. He's like as infinite identities and genders all
Blue
in one
juice, man.
person.
plastic African. He's a plastic African.
I play disc
Do
golf.
you have a problem with that, Vinny? Or just
I play disc golf, and
make a
the
song for you,
frequency the
Plastic.
disc spins at depends on how good your wrist flick is.
Like plastic, we could make a song for you sometime.
Oh man, we got to do something, man. You know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Banging
we could do
right.
like
I said, bro. I'd love to
Yeah.
be in that.
We'll do it like towards the song of the man down under. You know,
Oh man.
Come from the land down under.
Oh yeah, from the
Walking on
land
the
down
laughing
under.
panel.
Oh, it's the way that Peter Griffin does it. My
Yeah.
thunder. Yeah, yeah.
Plastic
Yeah.
African, a Vegemite sandwich. And
Look
send
at
me
them
my
sun.
way.
Yeah, I like it.
See,
we go,
sometimes
man.
you just
Oh,
want to
you
have
took
fun.
my
brand is
last
growing.
fucking
The
Vegemite
brand
sandwich,
is
plastic
growing.
African. Shame
Love
on
it.
you. Don't take my last Vegemite sandwich, pal.
I can do the washboard, not
I
lost.
stood that
I think
down.
I have one somewhere.
He's a plastic African. Okay.
It's sun in the sun.
That's it.
Yeah,
Getting the
okay.
sun, getting his vitamin D. You heard?
Mhm.
This is what too much sun does to you.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, the worst time I got burnt, okay, is when we went to a place called Warmbad, which translates as warm baths. It was like this spa area up in the Transvaal or the Gauteng province when I was a kid, and I proper got burnt. Like it was boils and everything, like blisters
Ooh,
over
yeah,
my back and everything. Do you know what healed me? As I jumped into the hot water the next night. Okay, literally.
No,
spa
that would
water.
hurt so
And
much.
no, it didn't. Everything came off. I got out the water. No more boil. No more. Yeah, with all on my back, it was gone.
Like
If that was the case, I
water.
like when I tried to take hot
Yeah.
showers after getting sunburned, it would have just disappeared. That I don't believe you.
No, it wasn't a hot. It wasn't a hot. It's not like boiling, but they spa waters. And I'm serious. That's what happens, man. Bang.
But
Minerals.
African's also a
That's the
genetic
difference.
mutation too.
I reckon. Yeah, damn right. I'm ginger. So yeah.
Yeah, funnily enough, I tan so much. Like I'm super white in the winter, and I am just European. Like I've got nothing special about my background. But like I tan to the point where people in the summer think I'm either like Arabic or Native American.
Nice. Oh, you're lucky.
Do you do any
I got
do you use
golden.
any lotions or anything, or it's just natural tan?
It is natural tan, but my skin's not doing as well lately, so I've been using more skin cream and stuff.
Oh,
But not like a tanning lotion at all.
Got to eat collagen, well, as we get older.
eat collagen.
And Q10.
No, too much collagen makes you say.
Collagen, essentially, you make like bone broths.
Make
Oh, I'm
and
not
all that.
doing all
gluten
that.
great
They're
again.
good for you, man. I swear,
Eat
man.
more pussy 2025. Eat more pussy from the hairy pussy himself.
You know it, man. Like back in the 70s, yo.
Slap it up. I'll take it.
Oh my god.
Leave it to the
I
captain.
could turn back time.
Hey, Frank. If I could turn back time.
Hey, Dagmar.
If I could
Oh, Vinny. Oh, Vinny.
I got stuck in the.
Man, you are fun tonight, Vinny. I swear.
Yeah, like panels like Jeff's bring out the more positive sides of myself.
Oh yeah,
Are you
fuck yeah.
serious? Wow.
I agree. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
jump on too much these days.
Well,
Well,
I
Jeff
don't
is
want to
one
know
of the
what you got
characters, and that's
tested
what I've been
negative
doing.
on then.
Jeff, you'd be proud of me. I've been working on the character. You know,
What do you have any new ones?
You know,
What do your trans
No,
one?
no.
We have an actual trans person here. that can evaluate it.
I don't know how to do that. That could be any voice.
Well, you were doing it the other day.
I'll tell you what a trans favorite car is. It's a Trans Am. Oh, is this thing on? Hello.
And their
Jeff,
favorite vacation spot is
Woo,
Transylvania.
woo, woo,
Oh,
woo, you going to jail.
all transgender car mechanics specialize in fixing trannies.
Oh,
Yeah, Jeffrey. I've been
I know that's I'm better at jokes that suck than jokes that are good.
Yeah,
Isn't that wild?
Just some shit settled out on the farm, and you're doing the distance and the that, and wearing my overalls with
That's
no
your
shirt.
that sounds like an F to
Now,
them.
Jeffrey, but I tune in to the Gen X show because it just gets me going in the mornings, you know, when I'm eating my French fries, potatoes, sitting around clipping coupons and looking at the old ladies at the ShopRite supermarket frozen food.
Remember stamps? Did y'all do stamps where you had to stick them in the little books and turn them in for prizes? You get them at the grocery store.
Make broadcasting great again.
I have a theory.
2025.
I have a theory that the most entertaining people are like sub-schizophrenic, like not even like the schizotypal, schizoaffective,
Like crazy
group.
people. Yeah.
No, but they're not. But they're functional to the
fucking funny,
point where they're
Come
not
on.
like clinically diagnosable, but they are close enough to schizophrenic that their brain can just keep on putting out like random shit.
I know back home they are, because there's a thing called fun crazy, and then there's like crazy. And back home we have a lot of fun crazy, so that's exactly what they were.
When we go to
Back
this,
home,
okay,
so you're not home right now?
No, I'm up in Washington
he
State.
lives away from home. He's been outcast.
I'm an exile. I'm an immigrant.
That's why he names it, man. He's like, yeah, I can't believe my son's gay. Oh no, no.
Wait, you might actually be the first. You might be the first real victim of cancel culture I've ever met.
Jeffrey, you are fans that pants kind of man.
Oh, I get no, I get canceled all the time. I got kicked out of the Satanist group like a few months ago.
Yeah, that's what Sneak Easy and them were talking about. I get canceled a lot.
Well, my name is Roscoe Pico Tree, and I will catch some son of a bitch.
But if people are canceling me, then I'm not a fit for that group anyway, so it's not going to work out.
Damn Duke boys, Frank.
True.
You know what? Them damn Duke boys, they're at it again, Frank. Them damn Duke boys.
You know,
just a good old boy.
That's like my superpower in this space. I don't take
Oh.
anything personally. Like nothing. There's nothing's worth taking personally in this space.
That's a good superpower to have, although it did seem like that earlier.
Taking away.
I'm glad that you do have that.
Being a serious debater means like I'm passionate, right? But that doesn't like when I leave this, I don't care what the results are. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care what anyone thought of me. I did my best. That's all that matters to me.
Breaker 1-9 to Frankie.
Hey, Shift.
Breaking down this big beer.
I'm rolling down highway, blah, 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 and I see it go cooked out, mounted, come on.
Man, I'm so glad that pilots don't have to use CB radio because then they'd have to put up with people like you.
Hello, this is Microsoft customer service. How can I help you, please?
Hello, is it me you've been looking for?
Have you seen that guy who makes like AI bots?
Hello,
Frank.
is it me you're looking for?
Which one?
So this guy makes AI bots to like waste scammers' time. Basically, so the scammers think that they're talking to a real person, but it's just like a bunch of bots.
Oh, like audio.
And then he streams it too. So you can actually watch them trolling these scammers. And sometimes even the chat can tell the bots what to say.
And it's the AI the whole time is responding to these scammers?
Yeah,
it's
I'll send it to you.
generated by
They go like that. They go like this. Hello, my name is Rashid and I'm from New Delhi, India.
That's good, man.
No, Frankie, you owe me the money. Frankie, you owe me the money.
I would even like if
good. Are we going down that route now, huh?
I'm not going to tell you to run your show, but if you want to check this out, this is always fun to just like throw on. If you ever like can't figure out what to watch.
Is it? I gotta watch out for copyrighted stuff. So
it won't be copyrighted at all.
Thank you. Come again.
No, he made it all himself.
Thank
and
you.
he's not like that
Come
kind of guy.
again. Thank you. Come again. She'll come again when she thanks you. Come again when you thank me.
Maybe he has something in the description saying copyright. I'll look, but like usually if people don't put things in,
because like mine are all Creative Commons, so anybody can restream and clip my stuff. I don't care. I give them permission, but some people like keep their content.
Yeah, I think if we're just commenting on it as well, it would be repurposing it anyways for analysis.
Well, I'll take a look at it later. I have the link.
Fatality. Finish him.
And this guy has been for 10 years. He'll like actually fake his voices and call scammers. It's Kit Boga, in case you don't know who it is. And he is so good at it. Like it, I wish I could be that good at like doing fake voices.
Vanny, you should. Does he get paid for it? That might be
No,
something.
well, by his chat technically, but like it
What's
is
that, Jeff?
more of like a form of activism.
Is it a form of activism?
I guess that's really the larger issue now that you bring it up. It's not even trans. It's activism in general.
Thank you, come again. Thank you, come again.
As activism is a tactic,
Come again.
it's too extreme for me. It's too radical. I'd rather like be in a society with people who want to dialogue and work together
So
to form some kind of shared civilization. And activism is like really aggressive, and we're going to tear your shit down if we don't get what we want. This is how we think society would be. It should be. And if you don't go along with it, we're going to disrupt it. That's. I prefer my way to activism.
I find it
So I think
interesting.
the issue is with activism in general.
I love it my way.
baby.
Tell me why ain't nothing.
See, it's my turn to talk, so they're going to get loud.
You can just let them run in the background. Hey, Pat. They're like the little children in the back of the station wagon.
Yeah.
Oh, actual man-child behavior. Yeah.
We're messing up.
Tell
the
me
video.
why.
Fun.
Well,
I
we
spilled
are
my coffee in the
man
video.
over here.
Sorry,
We're part
Jeff.
feral.
Jeff, come on in, Jeff.
Over here.
But anyway, did you want to address anything?
Yeah, I think
You
it's
are
interesting because activism is typically a response to social
fire.
injustice,
You
and I
are
In
would
their
say like
mind. But we already have a
Desire.
system set up to respond to injustice, and they don't seem to want to use that one. They seem to like distrust it from the start. So they're creating their own method outside of the system to address the perceived injustices instead of
not
working
true.
with the one that we've all collectively built.
that's just not true. BLM, for example, came after decades of trying to work within the system and within the courts to get justice for the people who were unarmed and killed at the hands of police officers, and they kept on not getting results to the point where it boiled
Bullshit.
over into
Bullshit.
the streets.
Bullshit.
What justice did they want? You mean like the ruling didn't go the way they wanted it to? So
Well,
they
trying to
wanted to
hold
do
cops
something
at-
to make
well,
the ruling turn
you know
out
about
like
the
they
thin
think it
blue
should have
line,
turned
right?
out.
You know about the
The
thin blue
thin
line,
blue
right, Jeff?
line. Like,
The-
what kind of line do you expect that police officer?
So
officers
cops
do?
kind of like covering each other's asses and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that
I
makes
love-
it
I
How
really
the
love
fuck
hard.
they got?
I'm
Well,
glad
it works
they
with
cover
anything,
each other.
doesn't it?
That
That's the whole
makes it-
point of an.
Yeah,
no,
maybe you could let me get to
dude,
my point. Maybe you could let me
happens
get
with
to my
you lefties,
point.
happens
No,
with
you're
your-
just gonna
Well, here,
you're gonna
let him
narrate
try.
over me. It's super
Okay,
cool.
okay.
So that makes it really hard for people to seek justice against police officers specifically. And when police officers are the perpetrators of this violence, it really limits people's options to.
Do you
fight
have
for
like
justice.
specific cases and examples, and how widespread are they?
Not
Because I think
before,
for the most part, people do get
not just because I'm bad
justice
with
from
names.
corrupt cops.
Well, isn't it an entire
I could get back to
organization
you with
that
the
is based
list.
on naggings? They are just a bunch of Karens.
So I could get back to you with a list of people who had died before and that they had fought justice for and how that all went. Unicorn
Well,
Riot
no,
is
of
a really.
cops getting away with stuff and not
I
getting
still wasn't
held
done.
to
That's
account.
incredible. So Unicorn Riot's a really great resource that has been following this even before the riots broke out, but also very closely covered the Minneapolis BLM riots. And what you see, because they interview a lot of people in the streets, what a lot of people say is that there are mothers there who had people die well before these protests started, and they were mad. Like, where were these protests when I was fighting in the court systems and nobody was listening to me? Nobody wanted to charge these cops because the DA basically didn't want to alienate the cops.
So wait,
and-
this happened to you? You have a personal story about this?
No,
That's the
I'm
kind of
telling
stuff
you, I'm
looking
telling
for.
you about the live coverage that Unicorn Riot did and how they would find mothers
Oh.
like this who had those grievances that I'm talking about. So their coverage actually really proves my point for me.
Wait, listen, my man. I do a lot of true crime. I am an actual victim advocate, unlike your fucking protesters.
Oh,
So tell me all about it. Do tell me that your activism is so broad and perspective that
I just
you guys.
did. So I don't know what you expect me to say at this
Because it's
point. You just seem
bullshit.
kind of mad at it. Okay.
I'm not mad at it because it's more activism than
Oh.
anything else. It's more rebellion. I
So
think
again,
it's you.
But they
have
can't
to,
tell you
I
what
have
they
to
want
wonder.
because I tried to.
Exactly.
I
No,
tried to
they
get that out of them.
want they gave 5 specific things. One of them was defunding the
But
police.
if they can do it, why can't the trans community do it?
Well, I'm not talking about the trans community right now, Jeff. For
But
one
that's
thing,
what
and
my question was
secondly,
asking.
because
So
it's more nuanced.
my new question is: if all
we
these
do-
organizations can have lists
we
of 5
do.
specific things, why
Okay,
can't
so-
your community?
So let me
because
ask
we
you this.
do-
Because
but
you're
you're
not
talking about-
unified.
Jeff,
You want to
because
have a
we
civil
do,
conversation about
because
this?
we
Because I
do.
know
Well, if you
passionate
do,
about
why
this.
couldn't you tell me what they were when I asked? And we spent like half an hour trying to like loop it around on it.
No, but
Because
if you wanna,
it's not as simple as and not as neatly
Oh, no, it's
packaged
not as
as
Well,
something
then
like
why,
gay
I
marriage.
think you're
why
goddamn
is
fucking
BLM
crazy.
simple and yours not? Then the question's going to always
Because
be
different
the same.
issues have different problems underlying them, and so what the prescriptions would be vastly
No.
different.
In all honesty,
This
I'm
is a
already
false
done with you because
equivocation with
No,
extra
it's not a false
steps.
provocation because you think that you know what you're talking about. I think that you have more fucking complication with your identity than what the fuck.
You still haven't told me
activism
what
you
I've
do.
gotten wrong about advocacy, so I'm pretty sure I do know
Then
what
shut
I'm
the
talking
fuck
about.
up
You talking
about
about
it.
activism? We were talking about activism because
Well,
Exactly.
he brought up that he's advocated for victims, and so I'm just wondering,
I do.
like, what
And
did
I'm
I
really-
actually do
I'm
wrong?
actually
What-
really good at
You
it.
just keep saying
Because
shut
I'm
the
not
fuck
an
up about it, but you don't have any constructive feedback. So I'm wondering if you actually do know what you're talking about.
Let me ask you about constructive feedback. What do you actually want to change? You have 5 constructive points you said. Then tell me
With
about
BLM, I can bring them up. I don't remember them offhand because it's been a while since the movement happened. But one of them was
I'm
defund
gonna
the
get some
police, right?
coffee.
One of them was defund the police. You all lost your minds over that because you didn't quite understand what the demand actually was. Because it wasn't just defund the police; it was defund the police in these specific ways. And so when people try explaining that to you, you kind of lose your mind and be like, no, they just want to get rid of all cops. Well, no, that would be stupid. So what were the 5?
You're not Googling.
BLM? No, I am. Yeah, because I don't remember offhand. It
you
happens
Google.
sometimes.
Hey,
Not
Frankie.
everyone has. Not
Frankie,
everyone.
He Googling, Frankie. He Googling.
It's a me, Mario.
It's a me. It's a Google. Hey.
Okay,
He got
so
delivery by
Frankie.
the UPS. I said, UPS trucks. The big brown upper your
Is this your brain turning off and needing to make it stupider because you're losing the debate?
upper your
How am I
Okay, it
losing?
is. It is.
Trust me, man. The one thing that I don't do that is one particular thing about me is losing a debate.
Okay,
See,
so
that
the
you wanna-
5 demands from
No,
BLM.
Listen. You want to
Holy
fucking have a
shit.
debate? You want to have a debate? Then have a fucking debate. Then don't.
So the 5
Google
demands from BLM. The 5
there you
demands
go.
from
Nobody
BLM were
cares.
defund the police, pass the
Nobody
Breathe Act,
cares. Hashtag
end the
nobody
war on black people,
Hashtag nobody.
economic justice and reparations, political power, and
Hey,
inclusive
Frank, that's our
democracy.
new song. Hashtag nobody cares. Hashtag
Then why'd
nobody
you ask?
cares.
Wait, then why did Jess?
Hashtag nobody cares.
Why are you acting like a loser? Why are you acting like a sore loser?
Vinny.
Why are you acting like a sore loser?
No, then let's have a debate here because you obviously stand for things that are so fucking absurd that you need to Google them. Because that
Likewise.
is your moral value, right?
Likewise, I don't think you ever actually know what you're talking about.
Okay, then what is it? What I don't know what I'm talking about because I have not make accusations that I know something without
Would you describe
Googling.
yourself as a reactionary?
Of course, I'm a reactionary because I'm fucking passionate about what
Yeah,
I
that's
do.
pretty
And that's
absurd.
what I'm calling
That's
you out
pretty
because
absurd. It's pretty absurd to be a reactionary in 2025, where science is
Oh,
actually proving things like God
Oh
wrong.
my god! You know. Let's just blame everyone for what I feel like. So it doesn't really matter how I feel, but I do feel in a certain way. So I can.
Being able to imitate me isn't an argument, right? So you said you were going to debate, but then you're just acting like a child.
But this is how you sound.
I don't care. Why you sound like you're acting like a child?
Oh my god!
You sound really immature.
No.
Yeah, you do.
Why do I sound immature?
What does that have to do with the substance of anybody's argument? Because people sound all kind of ways on here.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ! Now you want to have a goddamn fucking adult conversation because apparently you are incapable of.
No, I've been trying to have an adult conversation this
Oh,
entire
bullshit!
time.
Because you keep talking over
Well, you get very
people.
distracted.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you have to indulge people, otherwise then they'll just complain that
And sometimes you don't. If you have the ability to do it sometimes, then you have the ability to not do it when you want the conversation to continue.
Well, like I said, you can't please people either way. If you indulge them, they'll
Because
complain
you're
that you indulge them.
wrong!
Then
You
why are
did
you up here trying to have conversations if you can't do it any kind of way?
Oh no, because I enjoy this.
That seems masochistic and
Maybe like
No, it's only
futile
his
of
fault.
you.
No,
it seems
that's
like you're
what
trying really hard to
progressive motherfuckers
psychoanalyze
do.
me when you also seem to enjoy
I,
this too.
actually, I'm not trying hard at all. It's not even that hard.
But you also seem to enjoy this too. So
I do. I'm very curious about
Okay.
people. I do enjoy it. Get to know them, taking them apart, seeing what makes them tick, all that kind of
the
stuff.
phenomenon
that
that's
is
most
the-
fascinating to me is that like I do see
that is
myself
what you
as
do. That is
genuinely
your
giving
entire
people.
survival mechanism, Melanie, because you don't know.
I'm
any
trying to
fucking
talk to
better.
Jeff right now. Like why do you need
I'm
to do
talking
this?
to you.
Oh my God! Like she's trying to have an adult conversation,
We've gone
Frank.
full
Let her
circle,
talk.
yeah.
But now, but like if I don't, then he's going to complain I'm not engaging with him. So,
But you could
by the
see
way,
you
Jeff,
could have just kept talking to me the whole time. You didn't have to like
Oh my God.
side veer onto Frank. That's what I'm talking about.
you,
I mean,
except
I was
like,
listening. You didn't
except
have to
that is-
break.
that is
Jeff, you
entire
realize that
survival.
just
Only
because
people
you're
talk
good
to
at listening to
individuals.
two people speak at once doesn't mean everyone else is.
But
right?
take advantage of that. If you have me listening, just focus on what you were saying.
No, there's
and
also an
ignore all the
audience
other people.
watching.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you for your support.
So Jeff,
I'm-
I could argue the same thing for you, right? Because you're here, you're enjoying this. It's not about. I don't think it's about masochism. I think like I genuinely believe that I have good news for people, right? You don't have to be afraid of this thing. If you actually understood it, you wouldn't be
I don't
afraid
think
of it.
people are.
Much how like when you're a child and you think that the shadows are scary. Once you figure out where they're coming
Yeah,
from,
it's
they're not
very
scary anymore.
condescending to think that grown adults think that kind of stuff. We
Well,
don't.
you've been acting like children this whole time, so it's actually kind of on brand for you.
Well, your ability to infer is very poor because that's not what anyone here thinks.
I think you should. I think
We're
you should
not
take on the
scared of
branding.
any.
We're
Like I
not
said, we
acting
weren't
like
even paying
children
attention
anymore.
to y'all at all till
I think you
y'all
should-
started messing with the kids and y'all started
I haven't
standing
messed
up
with
and
any
waving
kids,
your
so
hands
calm
around
down.
and making yourself visible and
So
saying,
stop
"Look at me, look at
pedojacking.
me, look at me! How oppressed I am!" Even though one generation before,
Yeah,
none
you're
of
the
you
one
were
who
oppressed.
messes with kids. You're the ones who make them suicidal by trying to put them through conversion therapy because they're not straight or
I'm not
cis
doing
enough
any
for
of
you.
that.
No one's doing that,
What?
man.
Who's you?
Don't be
Don't.
fucking-
I don't
You
do any
cis
of that
people. You
stuff.
cisgendered people.
Now who's
You
putting people
cisgendered
into a
Hey,
group?
retract that.
You cisgendered people. So going back to what I was saying, it should be good
I'm
news that you
trans.
fight
He
me
said
on
he
it.
said I'm
You
cisgender,
fight-
not lost. Tell him I'm a woman.
You fight the good news that you don't have to be afraid of this thing with telling the messenger, shooting the messenger and telling them that they're wrong.
I'm trying to get the I haven't gotten the message
fascinating
from
to
you
me.
yet. I haven't even got a single consistent
That's fascinating.
message.
But no, Jeff, that's fascinating to me. That like instead of humbling yourself and being like, okay, I couldn't walk a mile in this
Oh, yeah, I
person's
don't
shoes.
humble
Maybe I
myself.
just don't get it, and therefore I don't need to be afraid of it. You need to be wrong
I'm
about
not
it.
afraid
You need
of
to
you,
have a
girl,
narrative.
chick.
You need to have a narrative. They're
Whatever you
coming
want.
for the kids, right? That's a narrative. That's a narrative you want to believe is true.
No, they definitely are. I've seen their writings.
See?
It's in
You're
queer
certain.
theory.
Nobody
the
can tell you
drag
otherwise,
queens have
even
done
though you're not
papers
even
on it.
trans.
So don't gaslight me on this because
Yeah,
it's
nobody
all
can
in
tell you
print.
otherwise.
Cheeky.
Nobody can tell you otherwise, even though you're not even trans.
You're
How
not.
the
You're
fuck
not
would you
going
know
to
what
get me
trans
to
people
believe
want?
that I didn't read something with my own eyes that I very well, in fact, read.
That's never happened.
Yeah.
No, not a single person
This
has come for
thing is
all the trans
crazy.
people. If anything, it's again you cis people who try to push trans kids back into the box, even though that hurts them.
I don't even know what cis is, so it doesn't apply
that's
to
a
me.
huge
I
red
don't think
flag.
anybody would mistake me for cis.
Okay. Do you
All
even know
right,
how
we
to
got
spell
the
it?
Dave back.
Do you know how it's spelled?
Do I know how to spell?
Do you know how cis is spelled in this case?
CIS is
Perfect.
Greek.
You did impress me there.
Yeah, I know my words. Hey, Jax,
some
by
people-
the way, welcome.
Some people push back on that shit, and they don't even know how it's spelled. They don't even know it's a prefix.
I just
That
think
means
it's
the
a
opposite.
stupid concept. It doesn't apply. If you want to
Oh.
use it in your little framework, that's fine, but it
you
means
think
nothing
cis
to
and
me.
trans
So
fats are
telling me
stupid?
I'm cis is not adding anything to the conversation.
Do you think cis and trans fats are stupid?
Cis and trans what?
Fats. Cis fats and trans fats. Do you think those categories are stupid?
What? Fats?
Trans fats. You've never heard of trans
I think
fats
that
before?
question is stupid.
You've never heard of trans fats before?
Yeah, I have, but I think your
Okay, so
question
you
is
realize that
stupid.
there's also cis fats, right? Naturally?
Yeah, but we're not talking about fats. We're talking about humans.
No, is that concept stupid?
Not lies. Quit confusing me. You're fucking with my identity and you're giving me dysphoria and dissonance.
Here, I'll answer your question for you. It's not stupid because it actually helps us distinguish the two groups when we're talking about all fats in general. Just like if we're talking about all women in general. But
I already know how to
distinguish.
distinguish the groups. I've been doing it my whole
Cool,
life.
cool,
I can
cool.
tell
I'm
who's a
not
man
done.
and who's
What
a woman.
about
Sometimes
fat
there's
women?
This is why you
every
stay
now and then
stupid.
there's some that
This is why you can't handle the good news I'm trying to give you because you cut me off before.
Well,
I'm
if
done.
you'd give me the news, then you'll find out if I handled it or not. So you can't say how I handled
so
it.
for
if
example,
you haven't even delivered
for example,
the news
if I'm
yet
talking
after
about
what,
2 apples,
3
if I'm talking
hours?
about 2 apples, one of them can belong to Jeff, and one
What's
of them
the
can belong.
news?
For example, if I'm talking about 2 apples, one of them can belong to Jeff, and one of them can belong to Melanie. If I'm talking about all apples, then I don't need to make the distinguishment. But if what I'm saying matters, it depends on which apple I'm talking about, Jeff's or Melanie's, then I'm going to prefix it with Jeff's apple or Melanie's apple. So it's the same thing with talking about women. If it's a context that may include trans
that's
people,
where you're
where the
confused. It's not
distinction
the same.
matters, then I might refer to certain women as being trans and certain women as being cis. It's not hard if you want. It's only hard if you want.
Yeah,
it
if
to be,
the
by the way.
distinction matter, and it doesn't.
It's
matter
only
to me.
hard if you want it to
That's why I
be.
said it doesn't
This is
mean
only
anything
hard to
me, 'cause
figure it
doesn't
out.
matter
This is
to
only
me.
hard
It matters
to figure
to
out.
you.
This is only
but
hard.
not
No,
to
it
me.
actually matters
So
to
I'm just letting you
researchers
know.
and
Since
writers.
it doesn't matter to me, it's just a ways to bring it into the
No, this
conversation.
actually matters to researchers and writers and
Well, I'm
anybody
not
who does
any of
anything
those
smart
things.
with
So
their
you're
life.
talking to me.
matters
That's
to
what I'm
anyone
saying.
who does any-
Orient yourself to the person you're talking to.
It matters to anyone who does anything smart with their life. So again,
Yeah,
I think you're
Jeff, but
Pat,
you
they were on
understand-
last night.
So again, I think you're self-reporting that nothing you do
spelled
is
it
really going to
correctly.
matter.
Okay, I'm not going to get it.
So
I
your
already know I'm
opinion
not
won't
getting my
matter,
answer.
right?
So we
When-
could
when
just
is your
go into
opinion
whatever
going?
else the next
When do you
thing
ever
is.
expect your opinion to matter?
What goes up? But inflation.
Because that's not an answer. Cool.
Some people's blood pressure. Your age. Oh, yeah. Unless you're talking about mental age. I've seen that come down in people.
Yeah, like this panel.
No, I think she's a she. What pronoun do you use?
Hey,
And I
how dare
appreciate
you?
it, but I'm not going to get mad if you don't.
Can I ask a question? Are
Can you?
all children
Can you ask a
beautiful
question?
the way they
Can you
are
use
when they're
question
born?
marks?
Are children beautiful the way they are?
Some. They were ugly babies.
Yeah, no, that's a stupid question.
But what pronouns do you use? Are you she?
Yeah, I do prefer she, her, and I appreciate when people use them, but I don't get offended when they don't.
Okay. Well, I
think
respect
proper
that.
nouns are
My
better
bad,
than
at least.
pronouns, though.
Pat, it's
Proper
she,
nouns are
not
proper.
they.
That depends if you're proper nouns are only better if you're not trying to be more efficient in your language, right? Sometimes language is better when it's more efficient, not more precise.
No, like my proper noun is Mr. T.
So again, do you
It's
agree that
otherkin. It's otherkin. He said. I mean, she
Yeah.
said.
So again, do you agree language is not always better when it's more precise because it can take more words to get to say the same thing? Therefore,
That's not been
sometimes
my
language is
experience with
better
language.
when it's more efficient. Well, then I think you should try writing a book sometime and think about why your character might say something one way or say it the other.
What does that have to do with your ability to answer questions?
Because sometimes when you want to talk to someone like they're a normal person, you don't use the most precise language.
Language
You're
is
You're not
Formal-
using any
formal
language. You're not
language
using
in
like
that
even
Never.
close to
I'm not
getting
using
an
It's
answer.
any language.
evolved and
Do you realize
changed
how
over
do you realize how
time.
empty-headed that was, Jeff, to say I'm not using any
To
language?
say that it's anything other, it just shows how stupid you are.
You literally you're sitting next to
I'm the
somebody who said
empty-headed
I'm
one,
not
but
using
I'll let
any
the viewers
language, and you're
decide.
trying to say I'm stupid. That's hilarious.
You're the one who is trying to say language was ever static. It's never been just
No, I
this
never
or
said
just
that.
that.
Give me one timestamp from the VOD where I said that, because there's zero. There's zero
Like
timestamps for
30
when I said
seconds
that.
ago, man, you were just
It was-
you were beating him
I
over
did
the
not
head
say
with
it
it.
was static. I did not say it was static. That's really stupid. You need to learn to listen better.
Ooh, he called you stupid and said you do not listen.
To be fair, though, when you're speaking at like 1,000,000 miles an hour and you don't take a breath, it's very
It's
hard
not
to
1,000,000
actually
miles
listen
an
to
hour.
you, Melvin.
The
literally
thing is,
slowed
I can
down.
hear him. I'm like the one person on the panel that can sit here and actually listen. So he has a willing and capable audience, and he's still not giving me content
Well, it's
that I'm
pointless
asking
to-
for, the answer.
No, it's pointless to talk to you.
So
if
it's
your
not the
audience-
audience that's preventing him, because I tick all the boxes of the audience he's looking for, and I'm still not getting the answer.
No, you're one person. An audience is many people. So that's
Yeah, but
you
you
don't
have the
tick all
one. You have at least
you do
one
not tick all
person
the
that can
boxes,
receive
buddy.
your answer.
No, wait.
should
You
you
were
choose
wrong.
to
Just
give
no.
it.
You got to admit. You got to admit for once in your life when you're wrong about something. Okay.
Like
you do
the
not tick all the
whatever
boxes.
barriers
You
the
do
audience
not tick
creates for
all
you,
the
it is
boxes, Jeff.
removed in this one case.
Why
So
did
this
you
is your
lie that you
opportunity
ticked
to
all
like
the boxes?
knock
Why
it
did
into
you
the
lie?
goal, and you're
Why did
still
you
not
lie?
doing it.
Why did you lie? Why are you a liar?
Well,
I don't
which
lie.
box
I
didn't
You
he
do
don't lie.
not
tick?
tick all the
Because which
boxes.
box
So you do
didn't
not
Jeff
tick all the
tick, by the
boxes.
way?
So don't lie. You do not tick all the boxes.
Which boxes doesn't he tick?
He's not a plural group of people. He's one person.
Oh, you.
No,
So
but
in
which
order
boxes
to
didn't he
listen
tick?
and
He said he
receive the
didn't
answer,
tick
you
all the
have to be
boxes.
more than one
I'm
person.
not just talking to you. I'm talking to your audience as well.
Oh my
Yeah, but why?
god! This
That's
person
kind of
is cuckoo.
disingenuous
It's so
because
hard to
that shows
figure
you're a
out being
This
on
narcissist.
is
the
legit. He's
stage. Oh
legitimate
my
cuckoo.
god, it's so hard to figure out being
Just
on
a
media.
good old boy.
This
Media's
is not
so
normal,
hard for
y'all.
me.
I don't
Oh my
want y'all to
Never
see
god,
this
meaning
media.
no
personally. I
Why
think
does
this
harm.
is
media
how the
work?
human mind
How
is
do
supposed to work.
screens
Beats
work? How
all
do people
you ever
listen to things? Oh my
saw,
god.
didn't
Wow, imagine if you actually breathed and put some oxygen into that brain, Melvin.
since
Yeah,
the day they
likewise.
were
I can say the same thing for you
born.
so easily. Like
Straight
Well, no, because I have actually been breathing and listening. Yeah,
are
but
you
like,
pissed off?
my point would be that when you have
Are
someone
you
on the
this
panel
pissed off
who's
at your
still
own
talking,
reflection? Are you
still
this pissed off
talking,
at your own reflection?
still talking,
Are you this pissed
you're
off at your
still
own
talking,
reflection?
you're still
Yeah,
talking.
and I'm still asking you,
Yeah.
are you this pissed off at your own
No,
reflection?
I'm just gonna wait for you till you stop
you're
talking.
not.
I can be a patient man.
You're not this
I
pissed
hope
off
you
at
can
your
be
own
as a
reflection.
patient of a man that I am,
No.
Melvin.
You said no. You're not this pissed off at your own reflection. You're getting mad. At
I'll wait. I'll wait until you finish talking, Melvin. I'll be very patient and I'll show great impulse control, which, as a man, you should know all about.
To make this make sense, you're not pissed off at your own reflection, but you are getting very mad at something that also applies to you.
Who, me?
Yeah.
How is being patient and kind of composed a reflection of anger, just in that respect? Can you explain that to me?
Well, for one thing, you haven't really made an argument, so I don't know
Well,
why
I'm not here
in.
to make an argument.
I don't
I'm
know
not. Why should I make an argument?
I don't know why you're chiming in when I was talking to Jeff, unless your name is
Yeah,
Jeff.
but you're
No,
talking to
this
Jeff.
is
But
open
then in the
panel.
same
Anyone's
breath,
allowed to
Melvin,
participate. It's not a private conversation.
You state
So-
that you're talking to Jeff, but then in the same breath, you admit that you're not just talking to Jeff, you're talking to the audience, which to me just points out how narcissistic and masochistic you are.
When is your brain going to turn back on?
They did acknowledge
I'm
they
sorry,
could potentially be
I'm so
masochistic.
hurt, Melvin. I'm so
Hey,
hurt.
Waffle.
I feel like one of your mushrooms.
Rough estimate, even. I'll take that. I'll take a rough estimate.
You say you're talking to Jeff, but then you also state in the same breath that you're talking to the
Jeff's
audience.
just
How does that
sitting
work?
here, as usual.
Can't be anytime soon if he doesn't know. So that's not a good. That's not a good
Hey,
sign.
Digo, it depends on what your wrong is. For some people, perhaps.
So I know it's hard for people to.
We have a contentious.
I know it's hard for people to reconcile the fact that you're both talking to the person who you're talking to and the audience.
It's not that I've done these panels
I'm
for
not.
years. I've
I'm
never seen
talking to
someone have
people
the
on the
struggles
panel,
with it
not
that
the
you
audience.
have. It is not that hard for 99.9%
You're the
of
one
the
yelling.
people that come to YouTube.
Facts, Jeff.
So
Melvin,
again,
don't tar us with the same brush that you paint yourself with.
As somebody who's done theater, I actually know how to. As somebody who's done theater,
tell me, Melvin, are you Stanislavskian? Are you method actor or are you more
Well, tell me,
Brechtian?
as someone who's also done theater,
I know
tell
what
me
it's like
about
to
it.
say something to somebody, but it's also for the audience's enjoyment, right? So that's
So you're in terms of Brecht, are you a Brechtian kind of theorist, or are you more Stanislavskian?
He's very audience dependent, which is one of the
that's why I think if you're
accusations about the
talking over
trans is
people a
that
lot,
they need this
you can
external
relate.
validation.
What's
They
that,
need an
though?
audience
That's
to
why
be who they
pointed
are.
out his validation.
Elaborate for me what you just said there.
I literally can't even get 3 words out without you guys saying
Validation,
Well, there's
validation,
clearly a whole
validation.
stream.
I want everyone to listen
Validation.
to how I
Who's the one
feel.
lying?
I want
Those are people who are so
everyone
fragile,
to talk about
that I say 3 words and you
Did
freak
the
out.
work of them.
Did you go to the No Kings thing where you were?
So again, how am I supposed to feel bad about wanting validation when you're so fragile that if I say 3 words, you act like that guy? Yeah, you act like that.
Yeah, I'm not responsible for your fragility. If you're fragile, just there's ways to become less fragile and more resilient. Take some responsibility for that and quit offloading it onto the rest of us.
No, see, you're doing Darvo right now. You're trying to deflect. Let's step back. I'm saying you're the fragile one because you can't act your age.
No, I'm just sitting again.
people
I'm just
are-
sitting here. I'm just.
You have
You
to
can
act-
see
you
it on
have
the
to act
stream.
like a
I've just been
man-child.
sitting here watching you try to have a conversation with Dave, and watch him try to get his questions answered, just like I did. So it's very
Mm.
instructive
Very,
for me
very
to
good
watch
faith
the
question.
same thing happen to someone else.
You're definitely not
But we're
demonstrating
just
that you don't know
patient, Jeff.
how to
We're
answer
patient
questions.
individuals. That's what differentiates us from Melvin, is that we're both patient, you see.
But you're not
Mhm.
patient enough to let me finish my answer, so that's
Me
incredible.
No,
too.
because
I
you
was
speak
I
for
was
like
just
a million miles an
hearing
hour for
you.
about.
Validation.
Oh, bless. Oh, bless.
What he needs.
God bless. You all right,
Yeah,
Mel?
Benny.
Calm down,
No,
Mel. You're all
see,
right,
as soon
Mel.
as you
Don't
say
worry.
something, I say
You'll be
one thing,
fine.
I destroy you.
Validation
Relax.
is what
I
she
tossed the
needs.
thing you said out of this fucking room. So don't lie.
There's
You're
no
not
need to
patient.
swear, Melvin. There's no need to
Don't
swear.
lie.
We're
You're
all
not
friends
patient.
here.
You're facetious. You're a
Come on,
facetious
Mel,
prick.
calm down. We don't all hate you.
No, we don't all hate you, Melvin. It's just you talk all the time and you don't shut up, and then you tell people you don't get a word in edgeways, which is just kind of ironic.
Going back to why should I feel ashamed for needing
Kind of
validation?
taken over the show.
When you're fragile to
It's a
handle
bit
three
Yeah,
annoying.
that's
or
what I
more.
call him, the trans Mike Cerrone.
So again, why
It's
would
the
I need
Melvin
to
show.
Oh,
Wonder if they
okay.
get on together.
So again, why would I need to
I
feel
would
bad
love to
about
see
needing
them
validation
together.
when you can't even
Do you
handle
know?
3 words of intelligence?
Do you know Mike, Melanie? Do you know Mike Cerrone?
Aliens are going to come here. They're if you're the first person they meet, they're going to be like, "There's no intelligent life here. Let's get the fuck out of here
Do you
before
get
they
on
try
with
to kill
them,
us."
I'm
or do you
just
not?
waiting on the message or the golden news or the answer was something.
I can't see you guys getting on. To be honest.
Yeah, the answer is that you ask really shitty questions, and so you play
Okay,
stupid
well then
games.
you'll just
That's
have to
quite a
go
good
find a
question,
panel
to be
that
fair.
asks better
Stupid
questions
games.
than
Very
You
me.
play
calm,
Most people are
stupid
collected,
games.
fine.
You get
question that.
stupid
Where the
prizes.
fuck are we
You
going with
play
this?
stupid games. You get stupid prizes.
Mm-hmm. To win stupid prizes, but
What,
yeah.
what do we win?
I like
What
saying
do we
get.
win?
I like saying get because I don't think you're winners at all. You act like a bunch of losers.
I'm a fucking
Really?
winner.
Your opinion
Okay, why are you
really affects
here?
me, Melvin.
You came to
I'm
us. You
deeply
came
hurt
up
by that.
here.
I'm like in real life, I'm a loser too. I'll just admit it. I can say it with my chest.
So that's why we're all in the same. We're all in the same boat, then, aren't we, Mel?
But I can
You're not a
admit it.
loser.
I can.
You're not a
at least
loser
I'm
debater,
best.
are you?
But I can admit it. So at least in that sense, I am winning.
Hmm.
Yeah, but like maybe we're all admitting it, but just not so overtly as you're admitting it.
No, yeah, you're more self-reporting.
Winning at life.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I'm just being a bitch at this point. Like, calm down. Don't think too much about it.
This is a quiet evening in the UK. I think there's another gentleman here. You from the UK as well, my man?
Oh, he's from Africa.
No, I think there was an English chap in there. I could hear
Oh,
the
that's
Baltic
Africa,
tones.
plastic Africa. He's in the UK, but
hello,
he's from
hello.
South Africa.
Yo.
Ah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Standing at
good
attention.
evening, sir. Good evening,
Yes.
sir. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
And listen to how the dialogue opens up when you don't have one person just talking about themselves obsessively.
Constantly, like always integrating something to something and making something else over something else. Oh my god.
You're always talking
You
about
know,
me.
oh my god.
You're
Again,
always talking
you know what I
about
mean?
me.
Like I always think like
You're
debate
talking
should
about
have
me.
some rationality to it and a reasoning and a goal. Isn't it like the
Is your
dialectic?
plastic scared his words?
No, I love it when you talk about me all the time. Keep doing it.
Guys,
No,
driving
they
me
didn't even
crazy.
Relax, Melvin, relax. It's not all about you.
Wow.
Amen, brother. That is so true.
It's called media literacy, by the way, when you understand how context works.
Say that again, because I wasn't listening.
I didn't think so. It wasn't for you.
No, I wasn't listening because I have
But
bad
you're
ears
not
because I'm
media
old and I
literate
don't act
because you
my
don't
age.
understand how context works.
Quick
Yeah,
question, though. I can let me open this question, and this is a serious question. Do you think that all children, by their nature, are born as beautiful human beings?
That is a totally meaningless thing, so I cannot answer that.
No. How is it meaningless? Do you think that all children are born beautiful?
No.
No?
I don't think they
I
are.
You don't
either.
love kids?
I've seen ugly
Not-
babies.
So your
No,
question.
beautiful in nature. Are they not all beautiful beings?
Think. So when you found a question on do you think, you're actually asking somebody, do you have an opinion on this? And my answer is no, I do not have an opinion on that.
So you don't think all children are beautiful?
No, I don't have an opinion on it. Therefore,
You don't have an opinion on. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Thanks for trying, though. You know.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Brow.
thanks
How you
for
shift?
my nuance.
Shift. What's your opinion on ugly babies?
I'll
I think I was-
Myth, urban legend.
No, I have a question. I have a question for Vinny. It's very personal. Hi, Vinny. Hey, Vinny, ready? I have a pop quiz for you. You sitting down?
Yes.
Okay, Vinny, pop quiz. Just raw reaction. Ready? You're getting into an elevator. This is your moment to shine. Okay? I'm an executive. I have
Getting in the
all the
elevator
money
is
in
my
the world.
moment, or this is my moment.
This is your moment. This is your moment. I want to hear your fucking impromptu, like, elevator pitch for a sitcom. You have one chance to shine. Pitch it to me.
Hi,
For a
Shift.
sitcom.
Good to
And
see
you
you.
have to have a black and a trans person in them now. So make sure you put some
Yeah, there's
diversity.
rules. There you go.
The requirements are piling up already. Here comes the FAA already.
Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, and the Pope walk into a bar.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's it. That's the whole pitch.
Equality is important.
Hey, Schiff, you know what the sitcom would be? A real life story of a live streamer interacting live 24/7 with the world. With the person.
Isn't that just like Poseidon, though?
It's a constant conscious stream to high flying disc individuals.
What, like ourselves? Like us lot here? I like that.
Compared to all the other shows, come on, look at Alf. Look at these other movies.
Alf was fucking cool, man. Alf was fucking cool.
Saying, you know.
Okay, wait. Is there any cat eating situation going on in this show? Or
they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating your pets.
Oh no!
To be honest, this sounds like it
Says
could
an
have
orange
infinite
man.
potential.
An orange man once told me they're eating my cats.
Oh goodness gracious! Any outer space
But
element?
this orange
Nothing
man,
over
Shiffy, you know what? This orange man, Shiffy, he puts his hair on in the morning like cotton candy machine. The way you put on cotton candy, Trump goes in,
Vinny, you're gonna get us put on
and
a
they
list. Hush.
Are you funding it or not?
around, and they put his
How
hair
long
on
is this elevator ride?
This is what happens when you.
It's the elevator from Willy Wonka. It goes up and down and up.
My number one rule for panel etiquette is no one to wrap.
The flavors sponsored by the Gen X Jeff Show.
Keep going. Nobody else.
Man,
wants
we're
to
gonna
do
need a
this.
sponsorship for our sponsorship.
All right.
Unless
I
Shift
don't know
wants
if I'm gonna call you if I get into cash cab, but thanks. Right.
Hey, I'll be a lifeline. I'll be a lifeline.
Okay, all right. I'll let you know what happens. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Hi, Shift.
Hey, Ricardo, what's up?
Now that she's
Hi,
gone,
Jeff. How are you doing, man?
I really don't. I feel like if anyone says here I had a conscious stream, I'm more likely to believe that they peed their pants than actually had a thought worth thinking.
I find a nice avatar that
Well,
can
what
chill
panels
you all
do
out.
you like?
Oh, how about that one?
I say this. I say this with some admission of guilt. My own panel, even though I don't host it, because I'm too lazy to.
Who
have
hosts your panel?
No, I'm too lazy to host my own show. So like, I do it to myself. I could
You're
have
not late.
that
You're
I
not
like.
too lazy to go on other people's panels for hours and hours and hours. That's
Yeah, no.
crazy.
Well, I do try to be content for them at least.
Well, I'm very hard of thinking, and I'm going to say God bless you all. Thank you for having me, Jeff. And Mel, chill out, dude. You're going to be fine. It's going to be
There's
okay.
so many Brits on here, I
Yeah.
can't even tell who's
If you're hard
talking.
of thinking, then I'm sorry about my ableism.
Oh, that was
Good
the
advice,
Dave.
Dave.
Okay.
Cheers.
Take care, Dave. Hey, Dusty. Wait, what connection do you have with this,
There's
Flo?
the
That's
powdered
interesting.
Dusty.
That you're linked to the.
I mean, I'm surprised Flo kept me on after Sarah kicked me off. Like, 'cause they're pretty close, so I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have been.
Yeah,
surprised.
Flo's not the
But-
type to kick you. I can't
YouTube
imagine.
No, but I know.
Flo
I appreciate
YouTube
that.
royalty
other than being annoying.
in the house.
I appreciate that about him. Is all I'm saying.
He's YouTube royalty.
Yeah, Flo gives good panel. I've said
And he's
that
not
before.
YouTube royalty. That's stupid. But
He's the #1 live streamer, in my opinion.
He's
Ever.
panel royalty, panel versus royalty.
that's some parasocial shit. But anyways,
And I've known a lot of them. But it's one of my things. It's one of my.
We're all
the things
this is a
I like
parasocial
to do.
medium. I don't know if you've noticed.
What's wrong with that?
I mean, it's
We're all
parasocial. for people
parasocial
who
off of
who
each other.
don't know
That's
how
the
to
only
make.
way we know each other.
I've let it take out. I've kind of seen it take over my life a little bit
This
sometimes.
is a medium for
But
content creation.
I've drawn
and
that
also
back,
hosting.
and so it's kind of it's
And-
it's under control. I've got it under control, I think, to the point where it doesn't cause me any problems. It's just fun.
So, by the way, I disagree with you, Jeff. I think that this is a platform for content creation, and people who get parasocial with it are people who aren't actually here to create content.
Well, that's just your like judgy opinion. It's a platform for people to do whatever they want with, and people
That's
have
just more
obviously
content, though, isn't
done
it?
very diverse and different things with it.
Like
So
a real
regardless of
platform,
what you think it
meta
should be
content,
used
if you
for,
like.
I'm looking at what people are actually using it for, and they're
like a
definitely
real
using it for
platform.
what I said.
Like a real platform for parasociality is like Facebook, and then it becomes less parasocial.
Well, then
as you
why
get
are
older.
you here? I go back to my question of if this is making you so miserable, why are you here? Like
I'm
you want to
anti-parasocial.
alleviate distress, but you put yourself in situations that constantly aggravate you and get on your nerves.
You're the one who seems aggravated right now. I could ask you the same thing.
It's
So,
not
no.
surgery that you need to solve this.
So you're the one, again. You're the one who seems aggravated right now. I can ask you the same thing, Jeff.
But I asked you first, so just answer
You're
mine.
so argumentative now.
I don't try to be parasocial with any of you.
Fuck it. I've been on this
I could
ride
even
before. I'm gonna go
say-
get some more coffee, y'all. Someone else can have
Yeah,
a
catch a
word.
break, man. I'll take care of this. I could even say argumental. You're a bit mental with it, so argumental. How'd you like that?
Very easily. It's very cool.
How'd you like that, man?
I need validation.
I'm into
and
words.
Everybody must know it.
But
validation.
I'm the B in LGBT.
So pathetic.
Yeah, I'm
I show it.
Can you have like
I
some
represent
intelligence?
very misrepresented
Who's here to
and
make this panel stupider? Who else is here to make this
underrepresented sub-community. Of which I'm
Ricardo's
not
probably
even
here to
part
make
of.
this panel stupider. African can at least say smart stuff sometimes.
It's funny
So
though.
African, let me ask you something. What do you think is worse, needing validation or needing to be wrong about things that way you can hold on to an internal narrative?
Well, technically,
Depends
to
on how
me,
drunk he is.
being one
That was a
is
complex question.
understanding humility, as in knowing when one is wrong and correcting it or being honest to its process. And that is very difficult in any work of art that we have, right? Because of the corruption amongst it.
Okay,
When
I
I
agree with
say
you, but
that, I
what-
say that no unclearly because of the wars that we're seeing now. You know, it's corruption, huh?
Right, but what does that have to do with my question, which is worse, to seek validation or to want to be wrong about something because it
Well,
suits
to
your
seek,
narrative?
to seek validation is an internal thing to you. So it's, you know, it's yourself. It's, again, narcissistic.
But which is
And,
worse?
and as well, not understanding yourself because of your dysphoria or what you want to project onto others.
No, I'm just asking you, what do you think is what would you rather be doing if you had to have one major flaw? Would you be someone who seeks validation, or would you be someone who has to be wrong
You
because
can't
you're
give me those parameters.
you're trying to hold on
They
to an
don't
internal
exist. They don't exist to me, man. I'm not
No
gonna
one wants to be wrong.
No, I can answer it.
It's
I'd
a
rather be the
parameter,
person
yeah,
who seeks
because it's your
validation.
ideal of it.
Pretty pathetic
Your-
to need to be wrong about
I
things.
seek to be wrong.
No, again, so I can answer it for myself. I'd rather be the person who seeks validation because it's pretty pathetic to need to be wrong about things because you're too insecure to learn new things.
Yeah, but wrong in whose eyes?
Well, for one thing, science. So
You only follow
But
science.
science itself has to change, doesn't it? Every
but if science
scientific
is right
approval
about
is
something-
completely accustomed to being challenged constantly. That's what makes
who
science
asked
science,
us about
correct?
science?
We find new things all the time.
Who asked?
Ricardo, he follows whatever agrees with him.
Yeah, no,
Do
I
you
don't
have
just
any-
follow science. So here's the
Malik,
thing, right? So if science is
Do you have
right
any
about
spiritual
something,
beliefs?
if science is
at all?
right about here's what I follow, right? I follow things that make me more likely to be correct. And so if science is right about something, then the thing that contradicts it is very likely to be false. Unlike with religion, where both of them can be equally right and equally wrong about something.
Sounds like you're hyperlogical.
Cool.
Well, I can
Yeah.
see why they're not making the progress they're fighting for, winning the hearts and minds.
Because
That's what
science
we
is
have
too
to
hard
do.
for you.
Do you ever follow your intuition though?
Yeah.
Wait, let me. I trust Flo's
no
instinct. So what do you mean? Like, oh man,
Have a good go,
double
guys.
down on the
Keep teaching.
cooperation. I don't have a lot to double down on to begin with. Flo, help me out here because you're not the best at this either. How do you do it?
Yeah, he gets mixed results from that. It depends. Like if you try to, if you expect me to be agreeable, or if I'm trying to be agreeable, but then you say things I disagree with, I'm obviously just not going to say anything. But you have to actually want me to try to be agreeable.
I'll just be happy if I could even get an answer. It doesn't have to be.
But I could do it.
You might just, sometimes instead of just saying something right after I said something, you can like think about it for a second.
Yeah, but I could not. I could do what I want. Really, it's my panel.
But sometimes, like
I
thinking
can
about
have
what was just
any
said.
communication
Does anybody
style
have
that I
any
please, and
solutions
if
to
you don't
Sometimes
like
that's
it, you're
the
free to
problem?
go find somewhere
Anybody have
that
that?
talks like
sometimes
you
that's
want
the
them to.
solution. That's the solution to
Transfer
you being.
always try to control how people talk and communicate. They have
But
to
that's
have it just a certain way to function.
But it seems like that could sometimes be the solution to you being your own worst enemy. If you just thought about these things, you'd be less confused.
Well, here's my coach. I'm going to get some tips.
What's wobbling up and down?
Hey,
You're making me
help.
feel dizzy.
Yeah. Look, Mel,
Okay, I'm changing
I
my
got
name
you,
right
Mel.
now.
I got you, Mel. It's okay.
Change your
Mel
avatar.
forms
Annoying.
intimacy with people by having heated interactions. And
Oh, Lord. Are we having
sometimes,
intimacy
if
right
you
now?
don't, yes, if you don't want to get pulled down into the passion that Mel brings to every conversation,
Media
you just
would tell
don't
everything else.
respond in kind, and instead you be supportive, welcoming, warm, give Mel plenty of space to, get all her thoughts out.
That's too much work. I'm just going to keep being me, and she
Well
can
said.
do what she wants in
What up, Flo?
response.
I'm not saying you have to do it, but I'm just saying that is the trick, because if you try to
I used to get
class-
paid to do that kind of work, so I'm not going to work that hard for free.
Like kind of counselling.
say it's already working,
Therapy.
it's already soothing, Mel.
You
Oh no, I
are
just don't.
good.
I actually
It's
just
that daddy
genuinely don't have
energy.
much to say at this point.
Yeah, all of a sudden
wrong?
you don't have much to. Flow comes up, and all of a
No,
sudden
right, like
I will
the
take my
intensity-
W.
Say.
I want to see us
the-
agree on something, Mel.
No, he's right. The intensity of it and the passion is sort of like the passion people have in intimacy. I wouldn't say it comes from the same place, but yeah, you can equate those things. And a lot of my responses anticipate someone being disagreeable with me. It takes two to tango.
It might bring about that very result if that's the expectation you're building into your communication from the start.
Well, I just generally don't argue as much with people who I do agree with. Is the outcome? It's not that big of a deal. It's not that deep.
I mean, yeah. What do you argue about if you agree? There's not really.
So how
anything to
many
argue
people do you
about.
find you agree with online?
Depends on what space I'm in. Like I said, I could go hang out with the Surfs TV, and we'd all agree with each other. We'd have we disagree on like praxis and stuff like that, but like we'd agree on the fundamentals.
I thought y'all don't agree. That was my whole question at the beginning. Is what y'all all agree on.
But if I come here, when I come here, it's like depends on how much I need them to agree with me before I say they agree with me.
You just sound like a lot of work, a lot of maintenance.
So, what are you, a plant? You
I'm very
reckon you can
cerebral.
change people's minds through your argument?
Mel is a high maintenance journalist. This is true.
It's actually called being a cerebral narcissist.
Hard work.
Which is really just a narcissistic way of narcissisting up the label narcissist, which actually means something. Cerebral narcissist isn't actually a thing. It's just how people make their narcissism special, which is crazy.
Validate my narcissism, guys. Validate my fucking narcissism.
I'm not just a regular narcissist. I'm a cerebral narcissist.
To stand out from the other narcissists.
Also, it seems
I'm
to
also
suggest
like a
that
plastic African, so
you're
I
an
have a problem,
emotional. You're not an
I wanna
emotional
be that,
narcissist, which is
I don't want to
interesting.
talk about the peace people, but hey.
Does an inverted narcissist also just want to be called that, or are there maybe different types of ways to be narcissistic?
What is an inverted narcissist?
But an inverted schizophrenic.
So first of all, do you understand the dark triad?
It drags your
Do I
personality.
understand?
Can you just
Yes.
answer a question?
I understand the dark triad quite well.
That really helps. Narcissism. People with
I
inverted
actually studied for my court-ordered psychopathy test, so yes, I'm familiar with it. Go ahead.
and don't quote me on this. I'm not that great with this particular thing, but from my understanding, people with inverted narcissism tend to rely on those dark triad traits more, but act on it like more automatically, whereas and not like an overt narcissist would be more manipulative with them.
Really?
There's inverted narcissism. Again, this is another like kind of pop culture phrase. I don't actually know what you're referring to. It sounds when I think of inverted narcissism, when I think of somebody who's got
definition mixed up. That's covert versus.
Are you talking about covert narcissism?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
the same thing. Inverted and covert. In fact, I did a whole stream on it at the beginning of my channel. I had an actual narcissist come on, and I interviewed him. We talked about it.
Do you know?
They're all over YouTube.
Do you know Sam Batkin? He's one of the top researchers on this.
I mean, I know
self-aware ones.
That's where I get a lot of my info on this from.
I like Sam.
I thought inverted narcissism was somebody who changes themselves depending on the room, because the people who are reflecting back at them, that's how they become whoever the fuck they are.
Just code switching.
It's the ones that are drawn to the narcissist. It's the counterpart of the traditional narcissist.
A narcissist
They're victims of certain traits.
Anybody who refers to themselves as an empath is
he wants
probably.
to change everyone
I'm
in
an
the room to
empath.
be like him because he thinks
A
he's
burnout
best.
empath, but still.
I am an empath.
In my experience, and this is just anecdotal, but
What
it seems to me
experience
that
with empathy do you have?
people who are empaths have had the same trauma as narcissists. They just sort of broke the other direction, right? If you can
I
slide
think
one
it's
of
just, I've seen empathy in children.
Yeah,
I
I
think it's just a
disagree.
natural human trait.
I don't feel that I'm broken.
I particularly stood out in Boy Scouts because there's this one kid crying because he was afraid of like not seeing his family at camp and something like that. And I was the one who's
Oh,
like,
wow.
okay, I'm going to go try to comfort him. Every other boy there just said, fuck it, fuck that kid, he's weak or whatever.
They should have given you an award.
that weak ass.
Did you get a badge for that?
But no, the scout leaders came in. They're like, get away from him. Why are you talking to him while he's crying? It's like, I'm just trying to help him feel better. What the fuck? So like, like especially with boys, it's like not something that's like, fostered at all. And I was a very an animal who's like whimpering. Like I would run across the block to figure out what's wrong with it. Like maybe even took it too far.
Because I don't think he knew. But he said
I
he
would
was
have threw
both.
rocks at his tent.
They probably have one now, Vic.
So you would have been would have made it worse.
I would have made it worse. Yeah, but the thing about it's accelerating. It's an acceleration.
But okay, so here's my question then. What makes it so that way the bullies only want to escalate with people who are weaker or who seem like outed? Why can't they escalate with people? Like, why don't they want to challenge?
The minority.
There's different kind of bullies. Some punch
Majority
down,
thing.
some punch up.
I guess, yeah.
So it's I think it's an in group versus an out group thing. If you've got somebody in your Boy Scout pack who's like the weak gazelle in the herd, it's just a different form of social support, really. Ultimately, if you boil it down, it's like, okay, sack the fuck up. You're going to see your mom again. You need to dole up and stop being a little bitch.
Yeah, there's always one. There's always one in every group.
I got kicked out of Boy Scout camp for drinking.
Wait, what age were you?
Never did.
7th grade, I think.
Oh my god.
Oh jeez.
There was a few of us that got caught drinking, Captain.
I know exactly how there's these like 3 kids in my grade 8 class who were those type of kids who to get expelled for that kind of thing. And I know exactly what kind of a kid you were in that at that time now.
Shit,
Wow.
man, I got some stories.
I still managed to become an Eagle Scout even after my drinking incident. And
Well, you were just trying to impress Daddy.
who was I impressing?
Your daddy.
Oh, my dad didn't go to Boy Scout function.
Yeah, but this way, you can show him that you're not. Just
Wow, it sounds like you're psychoanalyzing him.
I know I'm trying too hard.
He's trying to with his daddy. Hey, do you have a daddy complex there? Is that What do you have there?
I have not, John.
Melanie? I mean, where is that complex?
We're gonna get deep here.
Isn't it Oedipus and fucking Electra? That's the old classical understanding of it. Besides, they call Melanie as a Klein. It is Klein, isn't it? Yeah,
Melanie
it goes
Klein,
with the anal
she did
phase.
that.
Nevertheless, the whole subjective of is it nurture or nature? You tell me, Melanie, huh? Are you nurture or fucking nature?
It's I'd say mostly nurture, but also part of it is that I tried to get independent from a lot of that because I had a lot of different people raise me, and that all summed up to my mind. And you can't really rely on any particular single person.
So you come from victimhood, right? Is that what you're trying to say? Not from survival.
No, I'm saying I learned the hard way that
How do you make it? What is the distinction between
everybody has advice, but very few people will take the time to get to know you and what actually works for you, right? So
because you don't tell them anything when they do.
I've opened up a lot throughout this, so I'm
not today, not on the stream, not when I was doing it.
I think we're getting there, Jeff.
I've heard Mel open up quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't know what
not
you
on the stream. Not
expected.
when I was trying to do it.
But I'm also like, I'm not trying to trauma dump, right? Like,
But-
if somebody asks, I'll give it. But like, I'm not.
In my experience, Jeff will, and Mel, both of you will kind of like nestle into other people's negative emotions and get all warm in there. Like,
I don't do it intentionally because I'm usually not even feeling their emotion, their negative emotions.
It's like when Luke cut open the
I don't
tauntaun.
pay attention to people's emotions.
it's like, the energy vampiring.
Kind of, but no, like
Get the fuck away from my loose, man.
kind of, but it's also like
Leave my loose alone.
I appreciate a good loosh here and there myself.
kind of, but it's also
know
like
you do.
panhandling for
All
gold,
we
where like
are is
the
just
actual search for the
another
gold makes
leech
finding it
in
even
the
better than just getting free gold. Like there's something about panhandling that, or even fishing, that makes actually catching your fish better than just eating.
So you like to like probe around in people's emotional. I get that. I do.
No, I'm saying like sometimes like we do have productive or even really fun discussions in this, and so I'm here for the occasional pearl just as much as I'm here for the negativity.
It's like begging, like just hanging out by the dumpster waiting on little scraps.
Sure, I've done some dives before, so I'll take it.
I think panel verses are like pressure cookers for normal human interaction. Everything is sped up and exaggerated, right? Because it's a derivative of reality. The consequences are less. So I think it's actually a fascinating perspective on humanity.
I do.
Yeah. Hey, my man, Freud would go nuts at this moment.
Freud's a little weirdo. Jung is where it's at.
If he had this,
Young shit is weird.
the subject
in love
matter,
with his mother.
literally, it would be crazy because that's how you look at it, don't you? Over scale, and that's what we give.
In the
That's
worst
why it's
kind of
so
way.
great. What do you mean, blah blah blah? That's the way it is.
That depends on how much that scale is rooted in normativity, which, like, going back to what I was trying to say to Jeff before, but what's really changing in society as a whole nowadays, we don't look at normativity as the basis for which we should operate. We're actually asking ourselves, okay, how normal is a natural deviation of certain things like sexual preference or
Y'all are
gender?
the only one obsessed with that. Most people,
Yeah, I don't think most people really
They're
care
just
about
going
that.
about their lives. They honestly don't care about this stuff.
But yet, when the right wingers demonize us,
Which right wingers? What are they saying to you?
whoever the fuck told you that? Because it's certainly not true, and there's certainly never been a trans person who's come after your kids.
What are you talking about?
As I've said,
Actually, in my experience, trans people are way more chill than non-trans activists. The trans activists are the wild ones. But
this all started because the right wing needed a wedge issue, and so they took the gay panic and they repackaged it into
right, because cutting up kids' genitals is just a made-up conservative problem.
They literally said the same thing about gay people existing. You're going to
No, but we weren't cutting. We weren't.
Real one, though.
Gay was not medical. We didn't need any kind of medical intervention.
They still said the same things. They still said,
and we started talking about this last night, and I still don't understand the connection between the mental health symptoms that you're trying to alleviate and using surgery as an intervention for things like anxiety and suicide. That's bizarre to me that you wouldn't take a mental health approach to that, and you would think a medical approach.
Any sort of mental health approach that's got any basis in reality will recognize that gender dysphoria is literally a delusion. It does not correspond with reality. That's the definition of a delusion. I'm an addict. I would feel a lot better if people would just let me smoke meth all the time, but they don't enable me in that way because that would not be healthy, right? It's the same
it's
thing.
a good thing you don't need gender dysphoria to be trans just to get clinical treatment.
Regardless, it's absurd. It's been beat to death. This topic is stale.
I don't want to talk about
Who
it.
knows?
I don't think there's any way you can win because I've pointed out repeatedly that like trans people are not
You're the
doing
one, dude. Have you watched the headlines lately? We're not the ones that have to worry about winning.
But I just want to point out, like, my narrative is politically literate. This actually aligns with every step of like the Republican Party.
Your narrative is desperate and marginalized. Nobody cares about trans anymore. We're on to Iran. Come on now.
Right, exactly.
No, cool. Go on to Iran. I'm just pointing out that like,
enjoy your penis in your high heels. We don't care.
when I say that they're just repackaging. When I say that they're just repackaging the gay panic, that's not just my opinion. That is what scholars say.
Where's this I don't know anybody that's panicking over trans people.
Do you know what the gay
other than when it comes to minors?
Well, no, that's because you agree with it, so you don't see yourself panicking. But do you remember the gay panic?
Not really, but that was
Well,
directed at
You're
adults.
trying to make
That
people
was
care
directed
about
at adults.
No,
So
hang
the
on,
issue
hang
now
on.
is with
You
when
guys are
y'all
back
when
again.
my agenda of my generation had nothing to do with kids.
But
It was gay marriage for adults and the sodomy laws for adults. Kids were not
Mhm.
involved in our agenda at all or our movement.
No,
So the
When
gay
the
parent,
next generation started adding in the
the adults.
kids and let's do activism on behalf of the future generations, that's when a line was crossed for a lot of people.
the
no, that
TQ really started
Activism for
sinking
gay
the
people. The
acceptability of
activism
the
for gay people
LGBT.
was also the activism for gay people was also activism for kids.
Not
Also,
in my. I
I'm
was
going
Well,
to
there.
point out,
look,
I'm going to
Mel,
point out. I'm going to point out
enjoy living
similarities.
your lifestyle.
I'm going to point
Honestly,
out
nobody cares
similarities.
anymore.
I'm going to point out similarities between the gay panic that we saw then and the trans panic we see now. Saying that children
There's no
shouldn't be in the
trans
washrooms with
panic.
gay people.
What
Saying
about the witch panic in New England? You know, what
that,
about
yeah,
what about the Inquisition? There's been a lot of different panics. You know,
Where's this trans panic of today? I don't see. I don't.
but good thing the
None of
trans
us are
panic is
panicking
over.
about you.
We
maybe
all
you know if
accept
you can let
you.
me answer, you little bitch.
We
Okay, go
all
ahead.
accept
Answer.
you with your
I've been
mental
waiting for you to
illnesses.
answer.
We
I'm
expect you
not
to accept
impressed so
us.
far with your ability to answer, but go ahead, give it a shot.
I'm not impressed with your ability to
Boring.
reach on your panelists.
Okay.
You're very brave, Mel.
Did you want to answer?
Do you want? Do you
We
want
have
to
John
do
Moseman
you
in the
want your
back. Does
panelists? Do
anybody
you want
know
your
Oh
John?
yeah, I know John.
All
Yeah,
right.
he's cool.
Do you
I've
want?
got
do you
my
want
own
your
agenda
panelists to actually
anyway.
give me the space
And
to
it
answer
differs with yours.
something else
Just
here, or
answer,
do you
dude.
want?
Can we talk about something that's
You
not
want an
Mel?
echo
I don't even
chamber?
remember the
You want a
question
little
anymore.
circle jerk echo chamber because you're a little bitch.
Welcome, John.
You
Maybe
want a
someone could
gangbang?
pay-
We're not
Thanks for having me,
foreplaying
Jeff,
with you about the
on
trans
TikTok.
topic.
Sorry.
Cool echo chamber. It's very
Sorry, I
squanchy.
don't have my camera or my
Not him.
visual avatar because I'm on my phone.
All in favor of ignoring trans topics, say aye. Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Okay. Congratulations, you're accepted. The entire trans panic has been solved.
This is democracy in
about it, you
action,
fucking
Dustin.
dumbass.
This is democracy in action.
Fucking clueless idiot. You're still talking about it.
That's true democracy.
I think the trans stuff is downstream from the narcissism.
Absolutely.
No, it's upstream.
So
When's the
I'm
bladder?
gonna wait
further
for an actual
expression.
tranny I could have a
When's in my
conversation with.
bladder? When's
Plastic, your hair is
But
so
look,
long.
produced by my
It's
bladder and
amazing.
what's produced by my balls?
Once
Fucking incredible.
once the narcissist becomes more deeply confident in their surroundings and themselves, they feel less fearful. Then they won't have to put up that barrier between them and reality. And so you know,
brave. You're so wise and you're so brave.
we'll get you there. We'll get you there, Mel. If I can cure my psychopathy, you can cure your narcissism.
You can't. You have not cured your psychopathy.
Go to your psychopathy.
You've
I think it
socialized.
has a lot to do
Well,
with an
according to
authoritarian
the state of Kansas Health Department, I have.
See, you people can't.
They obviously
handle
don't
the
watch these
idea-
streams.
You all can't handle the idea of someone who you perceive as less than having dignity, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm having dignity.
I don't care about your dignity. That doesn't concern me in my day-to-day life. Nor are your feelings. So you're whining about stuff that me and most other people just don't care about. You can't force us to care about something we don't care about.
I show up. So
Happy Juneteenth. Can we give
Yes,
my fellow
Juneteenth.
FBAs
No more
yeah.
slavery. It's
Woo.
over, y'all. Y'all have to pay the people now.
Let me get my
Yay, no more slavery.
And pay your
And, you know,
taxes.
and to me, it's an
Actually,
authoritarian
I wouldn't mind a slave or
facet
two.
because
It's kind of fun.
I think most people would agree that if I was to go to Mel and tell Mel that Mel had to affirm
God damn it, Moseman, what are you
Christian
doing?
anarchist
What do you
identity,
think of my new avatar?
they would just say, no, I don't care. Good for you. Good story.
I'll affirm the second part of that identity.
I would gatekeep you because I'm also an anarchist, and I don't think you're a very good anarchist at all. Because a Christian.
Well, yeah, y'all
You're, no, Mel, you're the opposite of an anarchist. I'm the
Y'all
anarchist.
making me
I'm more of an
wanna
anarchist.
Fortify society even more.
Christian
I'm a
anarchist.
theoretical anarchist.
Literally an oxymoron.
What is Christian anarchy? Yeah, that is sort of an
It's not. But thank you. Try
oxymoron.
again.
So you could say like a Jesus loving anarchist, and that would make sense.
One is a how would you incorporate Christianity into a political anarchism without undermining the anarchism?
I don't embrace political anarchism. I embrace philosophical anarchism, and that's the difference.
So would there need to be an overarching church that tells other churches what doctrines to use?
No, because it has to be completely voluntarily free. I mean, that's the whole point. That any type of government or institution that uses authority, that uses force, is not acting in a Christian, especially a Jesus framework within the Sermon on the Mount.
So why would anyone
Because
consider
trans Jesus could do it.
pastor at a
Throw some
particular
anarchy
church
in
to
their
have more
mix.
authority over another pastor at a particular church unless they're actually being told?
Hey, buddy, that's why we
higher
had the
authority.
Reformation, okay? We got over this fucking hundreds of years ago.
What
And
I'm
again,
pointing out
that's
is
why
that
America is
religion-
born. So get over
what
it.
I'm pointing out
What's
is
your
that
fucking
religion
problem? At
religion
least some of the
relies.
fucking religions
Yeah,
are
I'm
trying
making
to
that
sort
point.
themselves out, but that is community as well in perpetuity,
So
isn't
you
it?
want to be
That's why it
confused.
works,
Because I can
because
point
that's
to
what humans are, herd creatures that need safety and validation.
Very cool. So what I'm pointing out is that it's a little bit contradictory to say that we should have a religion, but when that religion relies on higher authorities and people having confidence in that higher authority, getting rid of the middleman actually kind of removes the authority of the local churches.
That's what Jesus would do, but don't tell any Christians that.
Well, and
I
that's
don't-
why
I
I
don't
advocate for
understand
people who
how
have an
religion works.
individual
What would Satan do?
relationship with Jesus. That's
I
the
don't
whole
think it
point.
I don't think
What
it
would
understands how
Satan do,
religion.
Jeff?
If anything, you're talking more
You mean
about like
Prometheus?
seances than actual churches.
I'll be right back.
What I'm talking about is there's really two forms
I'll
of
be back.
anarchism. There's
Really need
there's
to reset this
activism
up.
and there's
I'll
separatism,
be
and I
back.
would be more in the separatist. I really want a complete separation of government and religion.
Is that do we not already have that under democracy?
Actually, we don't. We actually have a lot of things that we still have embraced from semi quote unquote Christian values, ideas. But I'm not saying that we don't have it. I'm advocating against my criticism mainly, Mel, is against Christian nationalism because I see that as a threat to both democracy and to Christianity.
Oh yeah,
Do
no.
you take it seriously as a threat? They're like, do you think they have the numbers or will ever have the critical mass?
I don't know if they have the critical mass, but they've gained influence, and I think with some of the populism, the way it's becoming more popular, especially in the quote unquote conservative movement, I think it's more prevalent than it ever has been in some regards. But I think the thing that's to me is the more important thing is not so much that what political capital that they have to enact their policies, but the fact that it does a disservice to people who embrace the teachings of Jesus, in my opinion.
So I'm going to post a video in the side, by the way, Jeff, if you want more info on this. This is from a lefty kind of news thing, but they actually do a really good job like posting sources and going into detail about things. So you can at least take what they say as being like a springboard to do further research. And it's also kind of pretty funny. They're pretty funny. They're called Some More News. I guess I just said it, so I don't need to like copy the video title or
just put it just in case, because sometimes
okay,
I have a
will.
hard time searching for things on YouTube.
By the way, Mel, how have you been?
Everything's up and down. It always feels like I can't have anything nice without having something equally bad to complement it in my life.
I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. But like,
I believe that.
But it's like I'm having extreme highs. At least, like I'm doing way better than I was before. So it's just everything's just harder.
Do you get out much, like physically, out of your?
Oh yeah, no, I like to bike long distances and stuff.
Yeah?
30 plus K type bike rides
Oh,
where I
neat.
go across the city and back.
Nice.
And I like to bike fast too.
Wish
So.
I had that discipline.
Do you have any like local
organizations
organizations that do things for the trans community? Like, do you have
There's
an
no
outreach
trans
there?
community.
Yeah, we do.
They're all individuals.
It's very liberal here. This is a very yuppie type place with like our university and more suburbs than actual downtown type area. So it's not wouldn't be like Toronto. There's real activists there and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And how are you, Moseman?
I'm doing good. I've been dealing with my own health issues and trying to get into a new home, and it's just that's how it is sometimes.
Are you Canadian as well?
Am I Canadian?
Yeah.
No. Okay. I live in the United States in Colorado.
The U.S. of A.
That was pretty funny. A lot of
Colorado. Tell me about Colorado. What's it like?
Canadians.
Seriously, like, I love going to new lands all the time. In my life,
Colorado's pretty nice. It's a pretty. There's
Yeah.
actually some pretty diverse areas. You have the Great Plains to the east, and then you have the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, that's the Rockies, isn't it?
Yeah, and I actually live in a weird spot because where I live is the only desert. It's like a desert part. It's so because I'm like only 30 miles from Utah, so I live in a desert. The desert part of Colorado.
In that little basin, is that where it is?
The Great Basin. That little Great Basin.
Well, no, America is the promised
Well, it'd
land.
be a canyon.
It takes up like a quarter of the continent.
Probably a canyon, right?
I love America. If America wasn't born, Jeff wouldn't be here. None of us.
No, we were correction. We were here before America, so I would be here. I'm one of the few people that would still be here.
No,
not in your configuration. We were down in Louisiana before the Louisiana Purchase. We came with the Louisiana Purchase.
No. Come on.
That's okay. I couldn't put like, you have an accent, Jeff, and I couldn't put a place on it. You have a bit of, like, I call it a gay list, but I don't know if it's an actual list or not. So
I have a gay accent, an autistic accent, and a Cajun Louisiana accent.
That explains it for me, because I'm terrible with accents, by the way.
And a satanic accent when I get pissed off.
But Moseman, can I take a stab at what the?
I want to hear that, Jeff.
Really quick, can I take a stab at what, like, the geology around you is like? I think it's like a canyon, but you know, like the games like the Long Drive, where it's actually like mesas, like huge rock formations that seem more spread out than anything.
Yeah,
that's probably what Moseman is around.
Yeah. In fact, I'm the largest flat mountain in the largest mesa in the world is just like 30 miles away from me, 40 miles away. Not even that. So, but yeah, we have a lot of, like, and then there's a thing, we have like a lot of desert rocks, and of course there's the Colorado River that goes through it, and so we're actually the Napa Valley of Colorado.
I was reading something recently about how they're trying to put more beaver dams in the Colorado River because the natural flooding actually causes the green space around it to be wider.
Yeah.
So they're trying to bring beavers in there, more beavers to make dams and stuff.
And Mel, you would actually probably like to live in Colorado because they've it's a pretty, it's a pretty liberal place, you know. I mean, I live in the most conservative county, and I would say it's no longer red as it is, like, very, like, royal purple.
Sure. I still feel like I belong in Cali just because, like, the ocean.
I understand that. Yeah.
I do feel like, you know, shipping and being out at sea wouldn't be something I'd be uncomfortable with at all. I feel like I'd be in my element, not like my main element, but an element that I could be comfortable in.
Would you want to be a mermaid?
No.
Oh.
No.
It's too soggy.
Mel's a fox. Isn't that obvious?
You know, when your fingers get pruny, that's immediately what I think of when you become a mermaid. Is like your fingers are just constantly pruny.
I saw 2 gay mermaids on YouTube today. 2 guys in mermaid costumes rolling around in a pool together.
I mean, they're living their best life. That's like good for them. That's all that matters.
I guess that's their best. I guess they were living it. We're all living our best life on here.
Some of us more best than others.
Well,
I should be living Elon Musk dreams because I am actually a super genius and I actually know shit about engineering. Unlike
why aren't you doing anything with it?
Well, because there's this thing called a glass ceiling, and particularly
I knew it was going to be because of something somebody else is doing.
Well, in economics, the more wealth you have, the more wealth you can generate.
That's why you're never going to be the Elon, because Elon wouldn't let that shit stop him.
No, but it's true. It fundamentally is true that the more wealth.
It's not.
Okay. Just listen, Jeff. This is economics. The more wealth you have.
I know people that have overcome those little imaginary barriers to be successful.
No, this is totally a class issue. The more wealth you have, the more
it's a you
wealth
issue.
You can generate.
It's a not wanting to take personal agency issue.
You really don't understand the idea.
Accountability for the outcome of your own choices and decisions issue.
You really don't understand the idea that like
I don't think you understand.
When the rich like invest in something, they're taking far less risk than you would be if you invest.
I don't care about the rich. I care about me and what I'm trying to do with my life.
No, but
that's why you're not at the Elon level, because you're not even focused on that. You're focused on what everybody else is doing.
You're wrong, because this fundamentally ignores
the economics. You seem to be, because that's all you're talking about. So if you have a personal,
only if you ignore the economics of the situation.
Yeah, I want to ignore the economics because that's not where I'm directing my focus. I'm directing
economics is what determines someones' wealth.
Are trying to accomplish.
But
Well,
economics
you're talking about
Jeff is
something
making
other than
a-
that. You're
I
not
think Jeff
even
is making a
talking about
valid
the
point
topic
here.
I'm trying to talk about.
I think
But
Jeff's
no,
making a valid point that a lot of people who had that kind of success are people who don't take no for an answer. Like I've done a lot of study of
Mhm.
Howard Hughes because I find the guy to be a very intriguing, interesting person in history. And literally every time someone told him he couldn't do it, he did. Now, obviously, Mel's got a point because he did have capital, and
I've been doing that my whole life.
You'd be
You know
surprised
where he
what you
got
can
the
do with
capital?
capital.
See, he's
but-
trying to help him out. He's not.
But I do think
anyone know
that
where he got his
you have
money?
to have a mentality that says I'm going to do something and set out to do it.
No, but that's the thing is like I've had that mentality my whole life.
No,
and
I
what
haven't
I've
seen
learned,
a shred of it on here.
Okay, well, I have several things that I'm actually working on and do have unique designs
Well,
on. that I just-
did that? All you had to say to the first time I asked the question was that we didn't even have to be where we are right now.
But let me explain something to you. If I had the money to actually prototype these things and demonstrate proof of concept to investors, which also involves some length of R&D, not just one prototype.
Successful.
No, that
No
is
one's
how
gonna
it
put
works.
up with this for
That is
very
how this
long.
works. That you don't get money unless you can get.
What are
investors
some of
to
the
come into
things?
something.
Do your pitch. There
He
might
doesn't
be
know how
people
to
out there
work.
watching that want to invest.
Right. So I have a synthesizer. It's actually like the underlying technology could be used for a lot more because it's analog computing, and the way the architecture I'm using is very good as like a physics engine. But anyways, the synthesizer is a bouncing ball synth. It basically you can do anything you would do with a normal synthesizer, but all within that ball synth core, and it's not even digital. So it's kind of gimmicky, but I think it's also like it's the kind of thing synth heads would be into. As the physics core, though. The analog computing excels at things like calculus type equations. You can basically just put it into inputs and it runs it like a calculus machine on its own. And so that's very useful for all types of like acceleration, velocity type equations. You can run that parallel to, existing graphical architecture to offload some of that into a even better core, beside like tensor cores or CUDA cores. There's also my drone platforms. Particularly, I have a 2-propeller DSLR mount drone that you could design that you can mount a DSLR camera to. And then it only has 2 propellers to stabilize it, but it has the same range of like a quadcopter. And then there's my ecosystems, which depending on which iteration you talk about, it's either a microbial fuel cell, a water treatment, an accelerated or scaled down water treatment solution, or a bioponic solution.
See, that was an answer. I wish you could give that for all those other questions.
No, but I don't like doing that. That
was
feels
one of the best
masturbatory
answers
to
I've
me.
gotten.
Because I haven't been able, like, I have like a freshwater ecosystem in front of me. But I don't have like the ability to integrate my ideas yet. And so if I don't feel like I've earned the right to say I've done anything with that. So I don't like saying it.
No, but it's something you're working on. So that's just
more in my head than anything.
Oh, okay. Well, even
I'm
as an
focused
idea
on
in your head, that
surviving.
was pretty impressive. As just an idea.
I'm focused on surviving right now, though, because like the main issue is I can't get ADHD meds, and without ADHD meds, I'm just full of anxiety and I don't know what to do with myself. And I just smoke weed.
I can speak to that, Mel.
Well,
I
what
have a
helped?
similar
Like,
issue.
what helps?
So then you're admitting. Hang on. So then you're admitting straight up that you're, addicted, right? You have to have something to calm you down.
No, I'm dependent on
Your
it.
disposition is this because the psychologist told you that, no?
No,
Your mom
I
did,
realized
you
that
feel
for
like that.
myself. No, I realized that for myself. Thank you.
If you have ADHD and
That's
you are on medication versus being off of medication, you can tell a difference.
And yeah, I am off of all pharmaceutical meds that I was literally raised on from the age of 4, by the way. But now that I can't get access to ADHD meds, I'm actually less functional than I could be, and I'm using weed to kind of just fill the time that I'm otherwise useless or feeling useless. But I also do use weed.
Come on, exercise like you do. You say you do.
You're functional, though. I work with plenty of ADHD people.
Jeez, man.
I'm self-actualizing and self-regulating, but there are things I struggle with. Self-care, Jeff. Like Jeff, by the way, I struggle with self-care like heavily, which gets in the way of being trans a lot too. So when I can't get
Well,
my hormones,
why? Those are just choices you make. You can just do something different. And
the why is hard to answer, but I can tell you when. Like having a foster father, for example, who'd only let me shower for 20 minutes, and that gave me like extreme.
But
like,
you're a grown man now. You should be able to shower for as long as you
Jeff.
want
Okay.
or
No,
need
Jeff,
to.
Jeff, yeah, Jeff, but that's how he compartmentalizes it. Why, again, it works this way with mine. So you should know this, Melanie. Understanding that ideal, that's the way we are, a nurtured virtue that we you know, oh my God, you know what I mean.
Yeah, Jeff, I can't tell you why I'm that way. I just know that like shit like that.
Even without knowing why you're that way, you can decide to be a different way. You're not a prisoner of being that way.
Bro, by
Yeah, but it takes real work.
Okay, but I have, but it also,
Real
Jeff,
effort.
Jeff, I have to look at the consequences of my decisions, right?
That's
So when I
like
look at the
him taking the
consequences of facing
ADHD
certain
drug.
anxieties, not all
Make him
anxieties, by the
normal.
way.
Be normal.
Holy
with
shit!
Wait, hang on, I
real
want to hear.
effort.
So I do agree with you, but like I also have to face the consequences of making some of these choices. So certain anxieties get worse the next time I have to deal with them. If I dealt with them last time, they don't necessarily get easier because I still have issues like storing positive memories about them and stuff like that. I am working on it with a therapist, but it takes time. But and so like with like washing dishes or something like that, like I do feel accomplished afterwards, but next time I go to do it, I don't have that memory anymore. And all I can feel is like anxiety and like analysis paralysis.
Melanie, one of my
I
friends.
still believe that you could wash dishes if you put your mind
No, I
to it,
can.
like
I
most
can.
adults should be
I
able to.
can. Yeah, Jeff, I can, but it's incredibly taxing on my mind. It's way more taxing than it should be for something like that.
It doesn't have to be though. A lot of this is just mental attitude and approach. Hey,
No, but that's
Phil.
the thing, Jeff. I'm 33. Since I turned 18, I've been facing everything head on as if what you said was true. And what you end up with is you do get rid of the things that are mind over matter, but you're left with the things that are real. Like you eliminate everything but the things that are real because you can't change them just by thinking about them differently. And that's what I am left with now. I'm left with things that are real, even harder to explain.
How you respond
Well, there
to them
are
by
certain
thinking about them
biological
differently.
factors that do
You
play
can't
a
change
role.
the event, but you could change your
The
experience.
current state that I'm in, Jeff, I cannot change. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Just
Well,
with
you
my thoughts
can't. I
alone,
mean,
it
you're
cannot be changed.
choosing to be powerless, or but
No.
you don't have to.
I refuse to be powerless. No, I never accept being powerless. Whenever I feel like there's an opportunity to be better,
all
I
I've
take
heard
it.
is I can't. So that sounds
Because I know,
powerless.
I know my limits.
Melanie.
No, Jeff.
Welcome,
Jeff, this is
Phil.
healthy. This is healthy to know your limits, to know your strengths, and know your weaknesses.
This is
Hey,
trans
boy, Jen.
Mike.
How you doing, Vinny? How you doing, Melanie? Everybody doing good? I got
Hello.
a question, Melanie.
Oh.
You stated that you've been on AD medications your whole life, and now you're finally off them. Like, I should be
been off
using
them
them
since I was
too, but because I smoke weed, they won't give them to me. But I don't like pills. But I wasn't sure if you was aware that, like Adderall, for example, is like one molecule off from being methamphetamines. So you've been using meth your whole life.
Hey,
Right.
Fluffy.
So that's partially
Well, actually,
true.
not all ADHD medications Adderall. So
That's partially true.
I used Adderall as an example. I'm just saying, like, I'm not
So
sure
you're
what he's
not
using.
you're not wrong, but just to note, like what gives things the meth like thing is the methylated property of a functional group. So when you make meth, you can use all sorts of chemicals as long as you methylate it to actually give you the meth high. And so the same goes for that thing. It's a form of methylation.
Yeah, but
I think it's a brominated methylation or something like that. And
Somebody
so it's
who doesn't
very
have
similar, but that way
ADD.
they're able to copyright it. So again, you're not wrong. It effectively does the same thing, although our minds are used and our bodies are capable of handling methylated compounds, so it's not that scary.
So a lot of people who don't have ADD, all right.
Well, then why are
use
you so
Adderall.
worried about it with anxiety if it's not that scary? You just
No, just on like a biomolecular level, it's not scary. Functionally, when you
Okay,
give it to
then you should
4-year-olds,
just go-
no,
Take away from
functionally,
how
no,
long
functionally,
it's
no, Jeff, I'm answering you.
sound like
Functionally, okay.
And I think that's
It's
what
not.
he's trying to point out.
Okay, dude, we can't even hear you, Jeff. It's not scary
I'm
as a
not talking.
biomolecule, but functionally, when you give it to 4-year-olds, it causes huge developmental issues.
Okay, but right now, as an adult, like whatever you said, you were 30 something.
Yeah, I've been off it since I was 18.
You
I still
should
have
be able
massive
to
ADHD.
decide to do things differently. Like, okay, this
Yeah.
happened in my past. This
No, I
was,
don't just no.
but
That's not
right
how
now
ADHD
I can do
works.
dishes. Right now I can do this other stuff.
That's
Right
not how
now I don't
ADHD
have to feel
works.
I can take a
miserable.
half-hour shower if I want to. My dad can't tell me shit.
That's not how
Yeah.
ADHD works. That's also not how compounding anxiety works. Like I explained to you before, it gets harder the next time if I don't actually mentally prepare myself for it
Okay,
properly.
so out of curiosity, I imagine like all battles that anybody goes through, you have to put yourself in that predicament for you to deal with it and find out how to evolve and
Well, I
get better.
tried that. Yeah, I've tried that, and the problem is with compounding anxiety, it just gets harder. So it honestly, the mental image of it being difficult becomes more real in my mind, right? Because it's already hard enough for me to store memories of it, of feeling like accomplished or feeling good that I washed the dishes, and then there's the risk that if I have more memories of it being awful, then that's all I'm going to be able to think about when I try to go do it, and I can't even think about taking
Right,
the
and
first
that's
step
where
anymore.
that's where the anxiety disables you because your brain is focused on the negative consequence of things, and that's why when you look at people who have severe anxiety
You got to tell
disorder,
yourself positive things all day. Like you got to tell yourself, I'm positive,
I've
positive,
done that a
positive.
million
If you
times.
believe,
I've done it a million times. It doesn't make a difference.
so you
You're not
believe.
doing it right.
So your belief,
You have to do it in
essentially,
a
just
way
so I
that it's
understand.
effective.
No,
and
I believed it.
lasts.
I believed it. I thought I was a fucking witch at some point, and I could literally do magical spells.
So
that
do
would
you
fix it.
believe that you can't be cured? Is that what you believe you need the medication? Is that what you need? You're saying?
do you deny that there aren't certain biological conditions where medicine is not a requirement?
Oh, sure. Yeah, some things
No,
are
no,
mind
I'm
over
not
matter.
talking to you, Mel. I'm talking to the other
Okay.
guy.
Well, I got a lot of mental issues. I should be on multiple pills.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm just asking any kind of biological, because you sound like you're the kind of person that says you don't need medication.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I've dealt with anxiety. I've dealt with what he's dealing with. Okay, that's what I'm trying to
You
say.
dealt with
So
schizotypal disorder?
I've been diagnosed with ADD. Okay.
Okay.
I smoke marijuana. So because I smoke marijuana, I can't get these medications because they drug test you and it
Right.
contradicts what they're trying to do.
I
But I
understand that.
believe that the marijuana helps me in my sense with what I got to deal with. But I built my own ways to learn how to adapt with things, and I had to put myself in that situation to learn.
Would you agree that not every anxiety disorder is the same? That you could actually have things that are like, for example, based in trauma. You can have anxiety disorders
Absolutely.
that are
Absolutely.
based in an imbalance of chemical. So that's the reason I'm asking all these things, because I guess sometimes these people who go, well, man, all you got to do is just work out, man. All you got to do is this one simple thing. And if you don't know the person's particular health makeup, it's kind of a redundant and simplified answer where, yeah, 80% of the people that might apply to, but it doesn't apply to everybody.
I'm gonna put it to you this way. I have ADHD. That's why I always say I'm ADHD plus. I interrupt. I don't let nobody talk, and I do all kinds of shit. If I don't have a routine, I fuck up all my day in one thing. Okay, one thing. I talk a lot. I won't shut the fuck up. You can tell me I speed talk and everything, and you think I'm on something. No, that's just my ADHD. When I see people, my excitement of seeing people in a while makes me go all crazy. It's not that
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's one thing. I already tried.
Just move to the south. Nobody
Yeah,
will notice.
they gave me Xanax. I fucking got lost. I didn't know where the fuck I was going. That's one thing. I don't take medication for it. ADHD is able to be controlled only if you set your mind to it and you put your routine and your boundaries, whatever you call it, whatever. You'll learn to manage it eventually.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
listen,
saying
Do
I
you
have
use
ADHD.
medication currently?
Hi.
I was taking Seroquel. That shit knocked me the fuck out. I couldn't.
Oh yes, it gives you amazing dreams though. You have the most amazing dreams on Seroquel. I did at least.
Blood Puff, I have a question for you. You're talking about meeting people, and that's what you do. It helps your ADD, da da da. Like, do you seem to have do the podcast seem to give you some kind of therapy where you get to talk and just ramble, and it helps you release in a sense?
Oh yeah.
I think I'm a naturally confrontational person.
Oh yeah, that's true. We don't shut the fuck up.
Like naturally disagreeable. I default to that, and that. I'm not saying that's a good thing.
Talking, that's it. We sometimes don't even make
I
sense,
mean,
but we do.
we're not. Listen. We're not all perfect. I don't have a
appreciate that
diagnosis
answer,
to
man.
fucking cure you. None of that shit. We're all different. So you're right. Whoever stated that we had different anxiety disorders and all that bullshit. I'm just saying that you have to work on your own self.
Right. None of
to
it
battle
should
your own
cripple
battle.
you to the point where, as an adult, you can't carry out your basic tasks. You need to
You can't.
keep
You
your life
can't
going.
have that
that's not
pull you
true.
down.
That's not true.
It is. It's
When
true.
you say
I'm working
none of
on
it should,
Yes, it is.
no. When you
In
say
your
none of it
case,
should,
it is. I'm
when
not
you're
buying
trying
it.
to do something
In
right,
my
you
case,
don't remember.
You're
I'm
just
glad you
being
know
a
me so
whiny
well,
brat.
Jeff.
some fucked up shit that you're like, where did I stay?
Well,
You got
let me
all
say
over.
this to anybody on the panel: if you have ever been born, if you have the kind of health condition that I have, which is that I do not naturally make hormones, I'm telling you right now, you'd be surprised of the things you can't do that, quote unquote, you should be able to do without that normal function of hormones. And so,
Like what?
well, everything. If you think about like what
Yeah, it
hormones,
regulates every part of the body.
Well,
like it
isn't that
regulates every
another
part of your
argument
body.
against
I mean,
Puffy? What are you doing? Oh, girl.
yeah, you know.
Isn't that another
It
argument
affects your adrenaline. I have to take
against
pills for adrenaline. I have to take pills
hormones for
for my
kids?
thyroid. I have to take
Look,
testosterone
they took me
medicine.
to 3 psychologists. All of them said I had no cure. Because I have to live as a routine, because of my ADHD. I'm bipolar. I have ADHD. I have fucking anxiety and everything else you want to call it, and they can't cure it, only myself. And when I get mad, my anger gets too wild, to the point where my mom used to lock me with a lock on the outside of the door because I would get
Are
really
you
upset.
Puerto Rican too?
Fuck no, no,
Yeah.
no, oh no, sorry, I'm not Puerto Rican. Sorry, I'm Mexican. My bad, ain't too bad.
So Jeff,
Jeff, they
I just
used
want
to
to point
make.
something out real
I'm
quick.
just hyped. I'm a Mexican.
Wait, Puffy's in the middle of
I
talking.
thought she might have been done for
Oh.
one thing.
Nah, she's
And
going.
also-
She's still going.
I'm mute.
well, yeah,
Okay,
it's hard
go
to tell
ahead.
when she's done necessarily
Yeah,
as well.
sometimes it is.
Jeff, they
I do
used
that
to
too.
make tools,
I guess I'm not going.
actual physical tools to work on those problems that she described. Especially like anger issues for children. You can look it up. There it was
Oh, I've been through
documentaries made
so many anger
where
management courses.
they weren't sure, psychologists, on what it would do, but they had people literally like act out their anger on pillows and shit like that. And over
Yeah.
time, it just made them more and more angry. It was terrible.
Well,
Well, no,
and
that's not necessarily true.
they had
So,
tools
Jeff,
at the
can I
time when they
can I
were actually doing
respond?
this that
Jesus
it was
Christ.
really neat. You put them on your head and it would measure the brain waves of your head. You know, the little with all the fucking
Yeah, it's called
wires
an
and shit.
EEG, an electroencephalogram.
And
I've had them
it
done to
would,
me, by
if
the
you
way.
controlled the right parts of your brain that make those fucking chemicals, like this jackass keeps
That's not
talking
how it
about, won't
works.
shut the fuck
That's
up.
not how that
Um,
works.
it
That's not how
it
that
Let
actually
works.
Dr. Phil tell us how it works.
strengthens.
Dr.
It
Phil tell us
strength.
how it works.
Yeah, let him
Doesn't
finish,
matter.
bro.
Well, he's just
Go ahead,
yapping and
Jack.
it's nonsense. Like, if
Go
you
ahead,
actually
Jack.
understand how
No,
EEGs work,
this
they don't measure
actually
brain
works.
chemistry.
It
EEGs
actually
don't measure.
works.
EEGs do not
And
measure brain
they
chemistry.
used to have
And
it
for the
built
record,
in
this is not
that
a
people
goddamn
have.
health expert
It's
panel.
not. It's
We're
an
just people's
entertainment
opinion.
channel.
Yeah, so
Right.
just for the
So
record, no one's
you
an
should
expert on this opinion shit.
actually maybe you should stop talking over the person who does seem to know how it works because they've even
Maybe
gone
you
through
should
it.
let me run my panel and just focus on answering people's questions like everybody else up here is doing.
Thank you very much, sir.
I mean,
Yeah,
nobody's questions
thank you,
seem to
Jeff.
actually be getting answered anymore.
Disclaimer: this is for only entertainment purposes only. Nobody's here, a doctor or any expert, to come up to the panel. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much for that.
I think YouTube has more of an issue when you try to have an echo chamber where somebody gets to say something and nobody refutes it.
Like right now?
Okay, well, did you want to say something? Or
Yeah, that's
respond to
ridiculous because EEG cannot help you target.
But before
specific-
that, you were going to respond to something that I had said or Puffy had said.
Sorry, not about
Oh, I
joke
guess
there.
it
That's
got
a
lost.
bad
Okay,
idea.
well, maybe it'll come back
I
around.
fucked myself over there. But no, EEG does not target specific brain regions based on what chemicals they produce because it cannot measure brain neurochemistry. So you wouldn't know if that's an electrical signal you're reading or one induced by brain chemistry. What EEG does measure is brain activity, electrical brain activity in various regions. And various neurotransmitters are associated to different cell types of various regions. And there's often more than one for each cell type. So you cannot you cannot get that specific with EEGs to begin with. So none of that has anything to do with brain neurochemistry, by the way.
What's your scientific answer for sweaty balls in the summertime?
Well, if it makes you smile, those sweaty
Thermal
balls,
regulation.
if they make you
It's that
smile,
time of the season where
then
guys
it'll
are, their
create
balls are sticking
chemicals
to their
in your
goddamn
brain.
legs. I'm
And
just asking.
Yeah,
both go hand
it's
in
thermal
hand.
regulation.
It
It's
doesn't fucking
protecting the
matter what
sperm.
you do, whatever.
It's protecting the
That
sperm.
really
Do
irks the shit
whatever.
out of me, man.
So
It's so
it's an
fucking
easy
dumb.
answer. It's an easy answer. It's thermoregulation is protecting the sperm from heat-induced apoptosis or cell
But
death.
you got to keep them dry Keep them. Don't
Yeah,
keep
but
them
like
clean.
the
Don't let
powder
fungus and
makes
funk
clamp
build up.
and all that crap. You want to have some good stuff on her to make it cool.
Shower, dry off.
Oh yeah, no, it feels great to shower. I know that on some level. I just can't remember.
Don't wear
the good feeling
boxers because they
shower.
tend to sweat more in boxers.
Well, I'm glad you have a therapist and that y'all are working on being able to take a shower.
Well, no, to be clear, I can take showers,
My
right?
Yeah, I
therapist
think
told
you
me
can
that.
too.
Yeah.
But think about this,
my
right? No,
therapist
let
told
me
me
I know
put
what
it this
Nell
way.
is saying.
Let me
though.
put
I
it this way.
understand
Let
what
me
Nell's
let me
saying on this.
let me put it this way, Jeff. Jeff, let me put it this way. So,
Salud,
first
Vinny.
of all, you can either look at me as being less functional than I should be for someone with ADHD, or more functional than you would expect for someone who rates very highly in schizotypal traits and has a schizoaffective parent. Now, if you know anything about schizoid disorders and how it works from parent to child, you know that the child often has a less severe form of what the parent had because of the heterozygotic condition. But anyways, when it comes to like the anxiety I have, it's like the same kind of anxiety that you might have your first time ever doing a public speaking. Now we're doing public speaking right now. I know that's a bad example, but when you have no idea, but imagine like your brain treating it like you have no idea how it's going to go. It could go
I just don't
horribly,
think you know
right?
how to manage yourself. But the
No, I
narcissist, when
do.
you admitted to being a narcissist, that illuminated things more than any of that other
Oh,
stuff.
no, I'm
I'm
performatively a
just using
narcissist,
that
to be
as my
clear.
baseline now because
I'm
I
a
know what to
performative.
expect from them.
Okay, cool. I'm a performative narcissist, but I'm actually not talking about performance here. So when it comes to those things, I've tried everything in the book to
Performance
help with
narcissist.
anxiety.
What
that
is
isn't
that?
So it means I'm doing it for the show. So Jeff, when
It's
it comes to
content.
anxiety, when it
He's-
comes
he's a
to
phony.
managing my anxiety, I've done everything in the book that isn't just a routine, by the way, because I struggle with forming a routine.
So then I don't. There's nothing. We
Listen.
shouldn't trust any single thing you say or do on here.
No, I've tried everything in the book,
because
and
it's
it
not.
hasn't
It's not
worked.
on us to figure out what's the performance part and what's not.
I'm
So
Jeff,
sorry.
you've boxed
Jeff,
yourself into
I
the
have a
same
question for you at the end of this.
situation that the trolls put
Jeff,
themselves
I have
in.
a
is
question
you
for
can't
you at the
take
end
them
of this,
seriously,
and
at
you're
some
not
point,
letting me
'cause
get there, buddy.
everything could be a troll.
Jeff, I have a
So
question for you at the
anything
end
could
of
be a
this.
performance. So
Okay,
you're
Vicky,
not
what's your
to
hand
be
raised?
taken
Jeff,
as seriously.
Jeff, you're filibustering. I have a question for you at the end of this, so you should really let me finish. So I've tried
He's
everything in the
filibustering
books.
because
But
of
I've
me.
tried
it's my
I've-
panel. I
I've
can
tried
say what I
everything.
want for as long as I want, and
sorry,
you
I'm
have to
Okay, well,
adjust
I
to
don't
that.
think you're being a good host, though, because
Well, then
I
go
get-
on another panel. I keep asking you why you're here.
Well, I have a question for you, and I'm just wondering why you're running from it. So
But why are you going around?
let
You
me-
haven't
let me-
asked it. I'm not running from anything.
because you're not allowing me. You're being a bad host. So again,
I don't control your mouth. You can ask the question.
well, if you would stop talking, I'll happily do it. So
you can do
if-
it anyway. You've been talking over
No.
everybody the whole stream. I know you're capable.
No,
of
I
it.
actually try to wait.
Nothing.
For some
See,
time
you're
to
trying to
speak.
blame me for not being able to ask a question. Nothing is stopping you from asking the question.
You talking right now, literally. is.
Just
That's not how a
ask the
conversation
fucking
works.
question. Take
That's not how a
responsibility for
conversation
asking
works.
what you want to ask and ask it.
That's not how a conversation works.
Yeah,
Jeff.
you have the.
Is this a conversation panel or a
if
debate
you
panel?
if you want the question answered, you have to ask the question. It's
this a
not on
conversation
anybody
panel or a
else's
debate? Is this
responsibility.
Mel, respectfully,
this-
this is where you
Is this a
start to lose
conversation
people,
panel
right?
or a debate
Where you
panel?
So
start to
anytime
lose
you want to
people.
ask the question, just feel free to ask it.
Is
You're
this
in
a
control of
conversation,
that.
Jeff? Jeff?
Having agency might be new to
Yeah,
you.
here's
but
your
that's
question.
What this is.
Yeah, Jeff, here's your question. Is this a conversation panel or a debate panel?
Well, you're
It's a
making it, I
conversation
don't give a
panel.
fuck
Okay,
panel.
that means letting the other person talk and not expecting them to talk
Well,
over you.
if it's not running like you want
You
it,
just
there's
don't
other
contradict yourself.
YouTube
If-
has infinite
you
panels.
gotta pick a lane
You're
and
not
stay
going to
in
run
it.
out of panels to go.
You gotta
Mel,
pick a
that was
lane
a
and stay in
debate
it.
you just did right there. That was
So
an
if you don't like it,
gotta
I'm the
pick a lane
manager.
and stay
Karen,
in
let
it.
me explain this. And you're complaining to me about my panel, and I'm giving you my response. There's no higher authority than me to address this, so I consider it addressed.
You're also on
The
a public stage, so
solution
you're gonna
is
be
for you to
criticized.
take yourself to a panel that operates more like you think a panel should.
Really?
Instead
Like
of being
Burger-
on mine,
like
taking
Burger
up our
King.
time
I disagree.
complaining about it.
I
Like
disagree.
Burger
There's
King.
also a
You can have
solution.
your
You
way
become
Burger King.
doing better. So that's all I'm asking you to
So
do.
next, whoever wants to talk next, go ahead.
Actually, yeah, no, I still have that question. So Jeff, I've tried
I
everything.
thought that
you
was
can
the
think
question.
of.
All of this,
You said that
I've
was
tried
the
everything.
question. Well, you're just gonna have to wait for your turn to come around again.
So yeah, it seems like again you
No,
don't
the
see your role
narcissists
in
do
that.
not get all the attention on the show. Not even.
See,
if
like
you
I can
some
understand what I'm
video.
doing here, right? But you don't understand what you're doing here, and that's what I find interesting. Why don't you understand what you're doing here?
How you doing?
Because
Jeff,
they
how
told
come-
me last night, they're
how
like,
come-
this is why he
how
gets
come you
banned
lack
from panels.
self-awareness?
He's not allowed on all these panels. And I
Because I try to
could
have a
see-
conversation. Yeah, and I
You
try to have an actual conversation.
Because that's the only solution. Like
Yeah.
somebody
No,
like
it's
this, you
not.
have to take
You're
them
like in
off at some
repeat mode.
point, so
No,
that
it's not.
everybody
You
else
could
can
do
have
better.
a chance at conversation.
It's not the only solution. There's another solution for you to do better. It's like
Give me
Jeff,
some
I've tried
advice.
everything.
He's almost
advice
worse
for
than
you.
Mike Cerrone, because at least Mike
Okay.
will pull back now and then and,
Yeah,
and
constructive
work with the
feedback.
existing
Constructive
conversation.
feedback is
Melanie,
so
a piece
hard.
of
It's
advice,
so hard to
if
get
anything,
I will
constructive
never
feedback.
pull back.
It's so hard.
Make your
Yeah, he
answers
does.
short
I've
and
seen
short.
there's plenty of streams.
Especially when you're a psychopath who wants to be
Make your
gratified for
answers
something
short.
that you haven't earned. See, if I
That's
hosted
you.
a panel,
We know
I would
that. We
actually,
know you try to
hold myself to a higher
So
standard.
if somebody else wants to like continue the topic or start a
No, we can start a
topic
new
or
one
ask a
and
question.
go F himself.
Yeah, so Jeff, I've tried 30 different things, maybe 40, maybe 50. I've lost
Sweaty
count.
balls.
I've tried everything
How
in the
we
book
handle
for
sweaty
my
Oh
balls?
yeah, the sweaty
anxiety.
balls. Yeah, I'm always
How we
up
handle
for
sweaty
talking
balls?
I've
about
tried everything in the book
balls.
for anxiety.
Look,
So
I don't
They
claim
got
when do
those
I
ear
start to
pieces
realize that there's nothing I
that go
can
for your
do
car,
that isn't
Jeff,
medication?
that you can put into your leg.
You were going to
He,
ask
he,
Jeff
said,
a
he
question.
told me to just
fan?
talk over everybody, so
Yeah,
that was
no,
clearly a
it's like
lie.
a,
Like one of those
Clearly a
little
lie.
hand fans that
Because he
people
doesn't want
cool
people
with.
to
Maybe
be-
you
No.
could
he
get a
doesn't want me to
mister. No,
have
that
it
would
or
make
No,
it
it's like
cool.
a funnel. A funnel that you put on your AC vent, and it goes into your leg, and then you blow it on your balls.
Whose balls get that sweaty that they need that?
his. But he
By
can
the way,
make
thank
I
you
don't know.
for
I mean,
thank you
if
for
you're working
making it
10,
that
12
way. I
hours
wanted
a
to
day
know.
out in the sun, you
Yeah,
probably have
but
sweaty
you
balls.
can do basic maintenance throughout the day. There's no reason to
You
just
could. You could change your drawers, change your socks, and all that, but still sweaty ball season. You want to avoid that shit.
Does masturbating each other in a circle jerk give you sweaty balls?
No, actually, when I'm
Oh.
masturbating, like the sweat's on my forehead, not on my balls. Believe it or not.
Getting really the circle jerking here is getting really gay.
that does that all day long. That's nasty.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want an echo chamber, Jeff, I can leave. But people often say that they don't want it.
Why not?
I
You
just
know
want
what?
a
I feel like
chamber where
you
other
should leave
people
because you
get
want
to
to leave.
talk. It's
And then when
Yeah.
I show
It
up,
doesn't
they
have
throw
to
little
echo.
tantrums.
I just
They
got to
throw
be able
little
to hear
tantrums, or
other
like
like
where they
all
become
How you
evil.
doing,
You're no
Vinny?
evil.
What's up,
Your
Vinny?
monkey is there's no
I'm
evil.
a favorite pussy.
How you doing?
Hey Phil,
Jeff,
how you doing?
Jeff, why
How
don't
you
you like
doing?
learning new
doing?
things?
Hey, we here fucking with these goddamn Quaaludes over here. You know what I'm saying? It's
Talk on the
fugazi.
side of the road. Listen,
Jeff,
leave
why
the
don't you
gun,
like
take
learning
the
new
notes,
things?
all right? When you're over there by the belt park.
Why are you afraid of learning new things, Jeff?
Mel,
These
Mel,
goddamn
Mel.
fugazis, bro. It's fugazi.
Moseman, why is Jeff afraid of learning new things?
Hey, you understand this is where you start to lose people.
Yeah, no good. I'm not here to limit people.
Yo, you know what's so funny? Hey, Jeff.
Jeff is a
Jeff,
good
this
host.
morning,
You think
Jeff,
is
this
a
morning
good
you were
host.
close to 1,000, and you gained like 20 subscribers without this fucking guy. Ain't saying
Wait,
about you
what?
going down.
Wait, I'm going
You went
down.
up.
Hang on. What am I at? Because we're having a disco party. Shirtless
Exactly.
disco party at 1,000.
And you went up. And this guy's
having
saying
loser behavior,
people ain't
I
coming back to
pity
your
him.
panel. You're going
No,
higher,
I'm
dog.
up.
Fuck
I
this.
have 16 left.
There you go. Fuck this dude.
Like, yeah, if you're proud of your loser behavior, I feel bad for you.
Guys,
I
you
really
know who's
do.
going to be the person to get me to 1,000? They're going to get a lot of
You
glory.
should feel bad for me. You should.
What's it like waking up knowing that you can only feel like you win by acting like a loser?
You know what? It sucks.
Right.
You know what it feels like? You know what? It feels like anxiety that like going on stage. That's what it feels like.
Oh,
Like,
I don't actually have performance anxiety
I don't
anymore.
have that.
So, it feels like performance sucks.
Hashtag who the fuck
It feels
cares?
like that.
Fuck your feelings. Fuck your feelings. Hashtag.
I just can't relate because I
Hashtag
actually
fuck
got
your
rid of my performance
feelings.
anxiety.
LOL. LMAO.
I got a pee.
Have you ever wondered
The Italian
about
flag.
that we
Cigarette
have
smoke
been
in a bowl.
Union break.
I'm looking at the mook. The mook.
And the mook.
I'm waiting for him to switch his gears. I'm waiting for him to have some fun instead of talking about himself all the time. Vows on it and everything.
Well, you're talking about me. Well, you're talking, and see, like it's nice having Vinny here. Because no matter how annoying I am, I'll never be that annoying. No matter how annoying I am, I'll never be that annoying. And that's nice to know. No, Vinny, thank you because I'll always seem less annoying compared to you, right? So the more you do that, the better I look.
Vinny's top of the top.
Vinny can do it all day long.
Well, you're also a loser, so maybe it's like, you kind of both
Oh,
motivated
hell
to
no.
be idiots.
Look at this talking. Somebody that can't have nobody's panel because he gets banned. Oh, he's not a bitch. Oh,
No, I'm on
Yeah,
plenty of
exactly. He tried to tell how to run his goddamn panel on his own panel. I get
I'm
the
on
fuck
plenty
out
of
of here.
panels. It just turns out that when people can't handle being told to learn something new, they try to get rid of
So,
me
so,
because
Mel,
oh,
Mel, let me ask you a serious question. Is it everybody or is it just you?
do things.
You
well,
can
no,
get rid of
not
Danny.
everybody's banning me from their
You
panel
can't do
mode.
Rodney
I need
Dangerfield.
everybody in the
Well,
world to
that's a good point.
conform
Okay.
with me.
So it's not
and
everybody.
You know what's so funny?
And just
I watched the
telling
panel for
everybody
like
what
20 minutes
nobody
before it came on,
cares.
and I
I just
heard your
want
goddamn
telling
story
everybody
keep going and going, and it's still about the
here,
same shit.
and they don't care
But see,
about
Moseman
because
asked a
these
smart
people
question
don't
and got a
realize
smart
we live
answer.
lives too because life
Play
is
smart games,
sucky
get smart
and it's
prizes.
hard. But you gotta have faith,
Play
faith,
mini games,
faith.
you get super
I
prizes.
gotta have faith, the faith, the faith. Woo!
Like you're actually throwing a tantrum. This like in any other world, this would be a tantrum, but because you're online,
No,
you think
that's
you're
you,
acting
sir,
strong
with a
right
diaper
now.
on the middle of the fucking carpet in an empty living room because
is
nobody wants
winning.
to be in the room with you. You're a
You think that
fucking
would
baby.
you get away with this in real
You're
life?
a big fucking baby.
You would not get away with acting like this in real life.
Big baby who needs her
I would tell you
Right.
to your
They're
face.
very
I'm
high
my age.
maintenance. I'm telling you.
man
That's
who
what,
wears
I'm acting my
high
age.
heels
Wait,
at
wait.
it the best.
I'm acting my age.
welcome,
What about
Lanny.
you? I'm acting my age.
The
I'm acting my age.
sometimes
Why don't
voice of
you say
reason
the
with
same thing for
Tanner.
yourselves without lying?
Let's waste more precious
Who are these
time
people?
talking about you and your needs.
Yeah, the more you freak out over it, the more you give me
Let's
the
just
talking
do it.
about.
That's so much fun. That's so
Yeah.
entertaining to
So
people
talk about
around
me
the
more.
world.
Yeah.
Why does this seem
You're
crazier
such a
more
than when you used to have
tantrums
mics
if I
on,
said
Jeff?
something.
What the
You
hell's
should throw
going
more
on, man?
tantrums
what
if
you
I
have
said
to
something.
say. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Vinny's
you're really
downloading.
mad.
Because of you,
Smart
Melanie.
people make you really mad, don't
We
they?
need a day
Oh my!
off for
Smart people
Melanie
make you
Day.
so
We need
mad. It's
Melanie
I'm
to
glad
crazy.
people are
We
seeing
need
this. That
Melanie
we talk
forever.
about
Yeah.
trans
It's
and
all about
I'm
activism
glad
and
people
how
are
they
seeing
are.
that we're
Melanie
actually
Tic
terrible
Tac,
at hosting
Melanie
conversations, Jeff.
fucking ham
They're
sandwich,
not
Melanie
trying to build a
fucking
society
TV,
together.
Melanie
Jeff,
this.
I'm so glad
What are you
that people are
yelling
able
at?
to see how bad you are at actually
Shut
hosting
the
conversations
fuck
and how
up.
Okay, then
You
why are
disingenuous
you
you
still
are.
here if I'm so bad at it?
Well,
when you
because
do
like
your nature
I'm
walk,
Ed,
unmasking you.
you come
I'm
back.
getting what I want. I'm unmasking you. I'm getting what I want.
Oh, okay.
You're masking yourself like a dumbass.
Yikes.
Don't start
What
eating
can we
No,
do
He's
to change that?
unmasking you.
That's
He's a
why Flo said
narcissist.
to affirm you and show compassion because that's what drives you away.
Yeah.
Hey, but
it doesn't drive me
Well,
away. It just makes
welcome,
me
Fox. I do value
brothers
your presence here, your contribution, and it's been a pleasure and a joy getting to know you the past couple of days. You've brought a lot of light to this channel, and I hope you keep coming back.
Okay. And if you ever do want to learn something new, I'm always here for you.
bullshit. I mean,
Oh, I
sorry.
feel all warm now. Oh, look how it changed just like that. Flo was right.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
play
What's
shitty
up,
games.
Lanny?
everybody in this
It's actually pretty simple, right? You play shitty games, you get shitty prizes. You play smart games, you get smart prizes.
It feels like a dumb game. I think we have different definitions of how we categorize our games, but you're right. Playing the game your way is getting me a better prize. Or at least I like the prize
People
better.
get out of me what they put in.
Because it's all fake anyway, so I might as well take the good fake that I
Well,
like.
and at least with Mel, you'll get lots of comments in your chat section because Mel's good at drumming up lots of chat.
Oh, good. Maybe Mel could be the one to get me to 1K.
And if you give people the option to kick me off, $1 per minute, you'll make so
we
much
do
money.
that. We do that here. I can be bribed.
Well, you got to remind your chat more
I'm a
often.
Satanist. I'm not above corruption. So I want to hear
Come
from
on, man.
Lanny.
Well, I tuned in. I saw you had like a 20-hour stream last night. What was that, man? Are you doing like a rally to get to 1,000 kind of deal? What was going on there?
No, not really, but I am getting close. No, I was off yesterday, so I did a couple of streams.
Yeah, I saw you had like an hour one, and then I was there early, and then I fucking woke up this morning and you were fucking streaming before I went to work. I'm going, what the hell is these guys doing here?
That's
I said the same thing, dude. I said the same thing. I was like, what the fuck? It's 4 a.m. and fucking Gen X is on right now? What the fuck?
Oh, right, the one last night. Yeah, it went till 3 or 4 in the morning over here.
That was crazy, man. How did it go? Is there craziness?
Speakeasy dropped by, and and some of his crew, and Fox was here, and so it got. We had actual conversations, like really deep conversations about politics and philosophy and stuff, religion.
Nice. Are
That's
we
dope.
on Team Iran or Team Israel or Team fucking fuck them all?
I'm on Team Israel.
I just want to
Team Western culture, Western society.
How is
Western-
Israel Western society?
I just want America to stay the fuck out of it.
Yeah. I
I'd
agree
rather
with
see
that one.
somebody win. Just put an end to it forever.
I don't
Same
agree
with
that
Ukraine.
Israel is Western society, but
Same with Ukraine. If America would have
Well,
put boots
more so than Iran.
that would have been an escalation. I'm
Well,
against them.
well, to be fair, Jeff, Iran at one point was the beacon of liberal Western values.
Yeah, I mean,
in
they're
the Middle
certainly
East.
part of it, but I'm going
And-
by like current.
Right,
Modern
I know,
Western.
but
I should have said
with
modern.
the understanding that the Ayatollah took over, and that so to me, the thing is, instead of bombing Iran, I think the better option is just to dispose of the
Got him?
minority that call the shots in Iran and allow
No,
and help to
no,
ferment the
Mark,
civil war there, because it's been brewing for a long time.
No, you don't want to martyrize these
Hang on.
people because that would
Then, sir,
actually.
I always go, hang on. But then, sir, I'll always go back to the allegory of what is the prophecies to come, isn't it? Hang on. Hang on. If you understand why Persia has become Iran, right? You guys know that in 71 when the Ayatollah took over, and why that happened to be Shia, and where Shia came from within Islamic scholarship, why it's a theocracy. So you guys are looking at it from a Western fucking point, not the other thing.
Well,
and
we are
also, most
Westerners.
of these people want to be like some sort of a grafter and think that I understand, again, communism or socialism, because that's the aspect that we have to challenge the status quo of our system, right? As the Western foundation, because that's where you're mainly born and you think like that. And you're free to think like that. That's actually something that many humans over fucking millennia never got to fucking do. And that makes you all fucking privileged.
Yeah, and I'm good. I want to
Not
keep
all
that.
of us think that way, man.
It does.
Some of us are fluid with the words, man. We
Some
see
people
it.
can't handle it. Some people go away. Some people die. It moves on. There is always that where a winner is a winner. It's never going to stop for humans here. We are going.
I'm just sick and tired of America fucking spending money every other goddamn country, and we have people without food, that don't have homes, don't have shit in their own goddamn country. People who are homeless that scrub this goddamn country, and we're selling billions of dollars of weapons and all kind of shit to other countries to help them the fuck out. But we're
It
sitting
bothers
here
you that much?
fucking-
Do you? Is that what you think about honestly your day-to-day life when you go to bed at night, waking up?
I give 2 bucks about the whole thing. I'm just saying.
Do you get too much social media?
No, I'm just saying. I don't think about this shit at all. The whole war thing,
right.
it ain't none of my business. I don't give 2 fucks about any of that shit. I'm just saying I'm tired that we're sending money to all these other countries just to help them, dude. We send Ukraine so much goddamn money, but people are in the streets begging for goddamn change. Talking about healthcare and taxes and
That's right,
inflation and all that
you
other kind of shit.
He's
you don't think
he's
about
right.
that,
America
Jeff.
for
Money needs some
decades.
change.
Hang on.
They just throw it on the ground.
That's so.
But America
abstract
for
to us.
decades have been
It's
doing
too
this,
good
haven't
for
they? For
change.
centuries, almost. It feels like giving the world through their wheat, through their World Health Program, through their everything has come directly from America, even NATO, and that that whole grasp of understanding where they say good and bad is, right? Because the European Union has cemented itself in a trade embargo, first of all, and now it's Russia bad, China not bad, but it's
Russia
okay.
is kind of bad. So.
No, but till when China's going to go for fucking Taiwan soon, right? And that alone is going to hurt what we still have because we haven't built it in the West enough. We've invested there, It's difficult to build these plants. Tell you, man. Are we suffering, or is this just part of the let's go, boys? The one world aspect is coming.
I'm not suffering.
But the thing is, like Jeff, that's saying you don't think about this on your day-to-day life. Like, I don't know what kind of town you live in, but over the last, especially since COVID 5 years, like a lot of main cities, they're falling apart. We got homeless people everywhere, junkies on the streets, not making money, and then we're sending money over fight these.
Yeah, but I don't think
that
about
Israel
like
keeps dragging
we're
in there.
sending money overseas to other
like,
countries.
yeah, I think about that. Yeah, that's a bad.
Homeless people wouldn't make me think of that.
It's
I
not
think
about
you
the other
will.
it's about the money being wasted while your
Besides,
country's falling
that's
apart. Like,
here
our
where I
countries are
am. At
falling
least it's a local issue. I already know the homeless system here and how it's funded and who's responsible for the solutions.
But how many
so
funds
it's not
get
like
cut?
a
How many
national
grants get
global
cut
thing.
every year? You know, and all this money we spend, you know, we can have more grants and more shit. We can have free healthcare in America. Honestly, we're selling billion-dollar weapons overseas to blow them the fuck up or give them to you.
No,
You know what?
communism.
We won't even fight. We'll give you the weapons. Here you go. Go fucking do the fighting for us.
America's too anti-communist to be that smart. But Jeff, I think it will affect you, right?
Where do y'all
war
want
in
to live?
Iran.
Don't want to fix it.
But by the way, Jeff, the war in Iran, like that's going to heavily affect oil prices because of the Strait of Hormuz.
I don't believe anything you fucking say, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. Well, you can Google it if you want. But yeah, because of the Strait of Hormuz and the amount of American oil that actually goes through there, your oil prices will skyrocket if conflict breaks out in that region. So you will be thinking about it.
It'll affect everybody. So we'll all be in
right,
it together.
but it's impossible to avoid it. Now, this is what this conflict will be a lot bigger if America's in it, which will actually probably hurt oil prices more. Which is again why I'm against America set with even participating in this in slightly, which they apparently have. So it's already gone past where I think we should have gone.
A lot of states do have expanded Medicaid.
I mean, it's really not so bad in here in Canada.
Oh my God! Right. I mean, Canada is ruled by a guy that is WEF, right? He was Bank of England's boss, right? That's right.
Does it
That's
have to
one
do
of
with our
these,
healthcare?
TV. No. Don't worry about healthcare. It doesn't matter about healthcare, bro.
Oh no, I was talking about healthcare.
I mean, Canada's go, oh, you can't get up the stairs here. Have a death pill.
No, we don't.
That's what Canada's about, isn't it?
That's not how that works.
Like, how liberal you guys
silly.
are.
Africans
like,
are being
you got a
silly.
problem? Could you have an ankle sprain? Oh, a boo-boo. Here's death. Just take this. Don't worry about
you're being a little silly,
again.
buddy.
No
That's not how it works.
after
No.
this.
No, that's not how we're doing it. No.
Come on, man.
No. That's silly. That's like like
okay. It's a slippery slope. Let's say that it's even happening in Britain. You know, I mean, the collective of, again, you say,
I
like
can't speak for Britain.
science and mutilation, we can make you a girl today. Don't
so
worry
you just
about
disagree with those things, but again,
Well,
like
you never get. So you
being able, if I break, no,
you disagree with the fact that I see a biological woman with a uterus.
African.
They gave me birth.
I want to get an actual response in, okay? Just for a second. So
Okay.
even if you're right that those things are abhorrent, that doesn't inform us if I break my arm, should I be able to walk into an emergency room and get healthcare without worrying if I can afford it? I would say ethically yes, even if the things you're right about are abhorrent, like you say they are.
Yeah, I'm so for this. So you have no idea what
you're
I've
making
seen.
a different argument. But
No,
at
it's
the end of the
not
day,
an
it would
argument.
improve your life. It would improve my life. It would improve everybody's life. Everybody's life on this panel.
Sir, if you're going to fight for this over scale, okay, what does it mean that every human on Earth gets to think like you think? Has to have what you think is the value of what is safe and fun?
Do you have like family members or something like that?
Is that what you're saying?
No. Do you have family members that like you care about enough that you want to see their quality of life improve?
You ever see a $200,000 hospital bill? Melanie?
No.
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, me too.
So when you get a $200,000 hospital bill, what are you supposed to do when you're just trying to survive and pay your fucking mortgage and you got that bill that big?
Now there's your real death sentence.
Okay, so now not only they're dying, you're killing the whole family.
The really sad thing here is where it comes to how we create these systems, right? The hospitals and how they're funded. And in Britain, we're having a very big problem because of the NHS here.
I agree.
It spends almost like 2.3 billion every week, something like that. It's mad.
That's actually that's normal because all healthcare is expensive. The price of healthcare, unless your government makes its own healthcare products, which would be like something like the Soviet Union would have tried to do, and is somewhat impractical unless you gear your economy towards a comparative advantage for that particular thing.
So somebody brought up COVID earlier on, so let's not go there.
Then it is going to be it's going to be marked up because that's what the public interest in the private sector does. However, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a waste, right? Because if people are getting free healthcare and we're saving trillions, like for America's example, from doing that, then it would be kind of still worth it. So we have to.
Okay, so from what I've seen as American healthcare system, is things from what GSK to Johnson and Johnson and others that are about chemical biology, right? And now going into the best thing, you know, that they're looking at the whole cement of us, and, you know, how to access that rather than looking at actually getting up, walking. You know, it's still butchery. I know that we're going through things that we're understanding more with our human beings, and that's the, you know, chemical constraint to say that we are all different genetically. You know, where we're born from, where our families come from. Yeah, it's
actually more similar than different. We all have unique genes.
Okay, but still, nevertheless, they are selling us a pill as health or an injection as health, rather than the you know, eat good food, run young, be skinny, you know, make fires, be a little rascal, you know.
I disagree.
You know, find your feet. And also, you know, play is the best thing, and then the aspect of what we have today. My God,
I disagree. Like, if you ever watched Dr. Oz, I know like Dr. Oz isn't a good example, but like a lot of like media around this stuff actually goes for both. Like, what are the clinical solutions, and what can you do as a lifestyle change? And a lot of like TV talk shows kind of demonstrated that duality. So I don't think it's like one or the other, like you're making it out to be. And there's some things that you need to treat with medication that can only be treated with medication. And there's some things that you can't treat with medication that can only be changed with a lifestyle change.
I mean, okay, so there's also thought over that process, you know, the mind over matter, understanding. That is incredible. That we can be who we want to be. If it's not, it. It's not absolutely true. We need that, again, validation of people going, yeah.
Okay, I'm a woman now.
What was that cup for, Pastor? What was that cup for?
I have a vagina now. No, I have a vagina now.
Confusion of the highest order.
I have mind over matter. Mind over matter. I have a vagina now.
You don't have a vagina. You're a trans.
You have a mangina.
Mind over matter. Mind over matter.
No vagina.
Mind over matter. Mind over matter would mean you're wrong here and I'm right.
Oh, that's what, again,
is that your goal? Like, are you working up toward a vagina?
Yeah. What the fuck is that about, though? What the fuck is that even?
Not until you reach your goal.
No,
until then, you're just a liar.
Your ability to argue that anything else is true. So, like, just accept it. Mind over matter.
So that's just me giving in, be quiet. Okay, you won. Cool. Is that what you're trying to say?
Did you have the top surgery?
If that was the case, then shut the fuck up. You won. You're quiet. Now be cool. We're chilling now.
I'm just saying, like, if you actually take that to its logical conclusion, it gets ridiculous very fast.
A hole's a hole, dude.
Oh my God, clip that.
Well, I'm just saying that there's options out there, and some people might have preferences. To some people, it's all the same.
It's not an original quote, so I was more kidding. A debate.
That's what I'm trying to find out, Nibs, but I should know better.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's never going to make a difference to you. You don't really need to ask. Like, I'm
not
offended.
Nunzio, salute, bro.
I'm just curious. I'm just nosy. It's not going to affect my life one way or the other.
Yo, Vinny, salute. How you doing, cuz?
Salute. I was on a union break, you know. I'm so interested in this fucking conversation, you know.
Thank you, Vinny. Right. Thank you, Vinny, bro. Save my ass, bro.
I don't know what the fuck is going on here.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all came the fuck up because I don't know what the fuck's happening either, bro. I'm trying to stay alive.
I'm about to stay alive, man. I'm just going to creep around the corner soon.
Bill said, I thought it was a barbecue. And then I said, oh, Lord, it's a fire. And then I said, I ain't got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I ain't got time for that. I just don't have the time, Phil. Phil said, fuck it. I ain't doing it. I can't give it because I don't have it. Don't got time.
I can hear you straigning your vocal cords. Please just like limit it to.
I'm glad your ears work, asshole.
It's beautiful vocal fry.
Vocal fry is killing me. Like as someone who trains my
Good for
voice.
you.
See, this
Get
is why
in
people don't
work.
want. Y'all are
Well,
not
they should.
winning
Look how
over
fucking big they
society.
are. Look how big
Y'all
your
are not
ears are.
fun to be around.
I'm not trying to win over society.
Yeah, I know my
Well, you
peers
said you
have
were.
done
Well,
I am
earlier you
very
said
big
you
ears.
were
That's not
trying
my
to advocate to the point where
that's a good
society
thing.
sees transness in such a way that it's not even talked about or a
Guys,
thing
guys,
anymore.
I'm
You,
gonna
you
be
can go back and
truthful.
watch the stream of
That's
you
where
saying
I would
that.
be more
So don't try to gaslight me that you're not trying to do
So
something in
that's
society.
where I would be more comfortable, Jeff.
Yo, let's
No.
get on this topic real quick. You guys ever hear of IAAI? It's a website where it's so basically you could like it's an auction website, right? You go on here, you can get a car, you know what I'm saying, for like a
Are you
nice
being
car.
paid for this advertisement? Are you being paid? How much are they paying you?
And see, you're a fucking dick. You're
Is
a
it
fucking
auto
dickhead.
insurance auctions?
The guy came in.
No,
He just
it's
trying to talk his
not
shit.
auto insurance.
He's talking your goddamn shit. Fuck you, you fucking dickhead.
No, I'm just
It's
saying
an
you should be
online.
paid
He
for
believes
such a
in
high
wealth,
quality
wealth that
It's a
has
car
to come
auction.
from
They have
somebody else,
mad
not
shit on it.
himself.
You should go
Other
check it
people
out.
telling him how to get wealth.
IAA.com.
Yeah.
All right.
Send it to you.
No, I
He
need
just
That was way more
about
interesting.
prostitute.
Thank you, Nunzio.
I need
Yeah, being
advertising
positive.
to buy, so that's perfect.
You know, if you need a car, you don't gotta, you know what I'm saying? You don't got brand new money and shit like that, you can get that car.
Is it all on the up and up?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all up and up.
Wait, no, I want on down low.
Well, there is a down low from what I understand with
What's
this
like a
crowd.
black market auction site?
I don't
Why
know.
gotta
You
be
tell-
black?
You know about that shit.
I don't know. I shop at the purple one.
I got a number. It's 1-800 shut the fuck up.
Nah,
You
I
can
don't
call
feel-
them up.
I don't feel like it.
You heard?
Or you can kill them a call if you want. They'll
There's
give
a
you
lot
cars
of
real cheap.
Is this a billboard? Are we on a billboard right now?
Are we? Don't you know where you are, sir? How dare you not know where you are? How dare you not know where you are?
You scream a lot. You do a lot. Like screaming is not necessarily.
Hey,
good.
thing is,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for some
click
content out of this
in the
guy.
background.
I'm waiting.
Click that link.
we do a lot of waiting with him. I noticed.
Yeah.
Jeff,
I
click
do
that
a
link
lot of waiting
over
with you.
Do what?
Hey,
No?
what's going on anyway,
there. Click
guys?
that link over there when you get a chance.
I'm about to cut my grass after
Oh,
that
you
weekend.
mean in the
Salute to
chat?
you, brother, man. Seeing you on the panel too.
Get
Hang
it.
on, hang on. Everyone good?
Desperation
Yeah.
is we can smell it from a mile away. So just
So is
that's the
validation
link for you, just to get you to shut up.
Validation's the same way.
Validation is everything to everyone. Don't
I
worry about
need
validation. You just put too much of it.
validate.
I got to be validated.
I need to be validated.
Actually, speaking of which, I filled my validation hole. So see y'all later.
You film it?
From this?
Be validated.
You are a masochist because all you did was complain about how miserable of an experience you had, and you were filling your hole the whole time.
About uninteresting topics for hours on end. Everybody look at me. I need to be validated.
Hey, Nick.
I fucking love Benny, man. He's fucking classic, bro. You A1, dog. You A1 in my book.
No, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh, rage quit.
I think his mom called him. I think his mom called him.
I hurt his feelings. Oh, sorry, her feelings.
I mean, yeah, he said, well, she said he had a vagina. I'm not even sure, but.
I know they did. He was being sarcastic.
Jeff, she was what, second in, right? I was third into your panel tonight, and that conversation just kept on going around and around like a fucking washing machine.
Yeah, it did. I needed to see it for myself. People tried to warn me last night.
Yeah, now you know.
Yeah.
I was driving from work, Jeff, and I was like, you know what? I want to get it on. I'm like, I ain't gonna get on the goddamn panel with this guy. I'm just gonna listen to this guy. Finally got home.
Well, would y'all rather Mike? There were some people saying,
Yes.
God, can
Yes,
we
I
get Mike
would've.
back?
Yes,
I've
yes,
never
yes,
missed
I
Mike
would've.
so
Yes, I
much.
Yes, I would have preferred Mike 100 if it was more than 100%.
Mike, you have some competition. You got to meet Fox.
No, that guy's a bull of negativity, man. You kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm not even mad.
He really is. There's no spark of fucking laughter and humor in that man whatsoever.
Yeah. You can't
my
take shit.
opinion.
It's all
There's no man
In
personal.
in
my
that man
opinion, my
whatsoever.
observation, my perspective, sir who wears high heels out there.
Yeah.
And I don't hate.
I'm
I
attest
read a room. No one to shut up.
He was a
and go
fugazi. I tried to tell you, but he's a fugazi, bro. He was thick as fuck.
I don't think that guy's had fun in fucking 10 years, man.
He hasn't got laid in 10 years. Fuck that.
Well, whatever it is, he doesn't smile. He doesn't
Who's
smile. I know
Thumper?
that. He doesn't know how to
Tell him
smile.
he has a
He's
chance
not
to
how
get me to
smile.
1,000.
Just roll
If he
with
wants
it.
that
and
title.
Life's
Oh,
not
wow,
all
you
about
don't
you,
think
and you can laugh at yourself and
Really?
just fucking have fun and relax like you're just living
Good
life in your
seeing you.
pajamas. Right?
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
Because in the end, Phil, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares, really. In the end, you don't need, the more you try to validate yourself or try to explain yourself of who you are and if it's the truth or it's not the truth, the more you lose the game.
Yeah, you're right about that
You
shit.
lose that game. You just keep pushing forward like a fucking NFL running back, baby. Put your and just keep going. That's it.
Exactly, bro.
Because eventually nobody's gonna catch you. You're gonna be too quick, and then what? And that's it. I mean, would you want to go to that guy's barbecue, Phil? Honestly.
Hell fucking no. I'll probably punch him in his goddamn face, bro.
Hey.
Oh my God, there'd be a seat plan. Vinny, you better use this fork for your French fries, and you can't touch those hot dogs.
Jeff, I'm sorry, I wasn't saying that in a threatening way. It's one of those things like he wouldn't shut the fuck
Vinny,
up and be like, dude,
too close to that.
let me walk away from this guy.
And on top of that, he kept complaining about how I ran my panel that I wouldn't let him, like other people wouldn't let him talk.
Yeah, dude.
And it was a
Like, what the
reflection of
fuck?
how I ran my panel.
Yeah.
Jeff, make Phil's camera big because I want to see that green at the moment. That's beautiful. The color. I mean, yeah.
Here, I'll
Oh,
make
it's
Phil
good,
big.
man. You know it. That's cool. That's
It
the
is.
sun,
It's nice.
man.
I gotta cut the
Go.
fucking grass, dude.
San Juan,
That's just gonna suck
Wisconsin.
dick.
Yeah.
Nature's green screen, Phil.
I
That's
mean, look
nature's
at
green
that. I
screen.
mean, that's amazing, man. I respect that.
There's the fucking goddamn. Those are rider mowers. I got two of them.
Those are man toy, man.
Yeah,
I gotta cut the fucking front. I'm just chilling at the house.
Amen, brother. That's a life, huh?
Yeah, I fucking love coming home, bro, and being peaceful.
I love it. Yeah, I know. I mean, ownership is ownership, huh? It shouldn't be taken away.
True.
From that. Yeah. So people forget where it comes from and how it exists and why it is. That's why, God bless America, because truly down to that gave the aspect of free of, society. You come here and the liberals have fucked it all up. And they've mixed things in between that and taken lawyers to the other degree.
And
But hey, Vinny, you were right though, Vinny, about being online and taking shit so personal and making it such a weird way. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, you online, just smile. If they make fun of you, they talk shit about you, just laugh about it, bro. Like,
I mean,
we're
my
online, bro.
purpose here, for me, is to have a good time and
Yeah.
meet nice
Yeah.
people, lose my voice along the way with the different characters and singing I do.
Yeah.
But I am enjoying myself in life because at the end of the day, I click the X button and I walk away from it and I don't
That's
give a shit
healthy.
about it. Maybe a couple of you weirdos out there, I do love you. I'll think about you something. You know what I mean?
I love you guys
Again,
too.
It's not,
Yes, you do.
it's
You
not
touch
personal.
yourself when you
Nothing
think
even
of me,
personal.
brother.
You gotta learn. Listen, it's interesting to talk, but I mean, you could just, all we're doing at this level of people I've been meeting lately is someone who just acts like that Fox thing, whatever it was. We just start, like, I look at and I play a game with myself. How many times is he going to say the word I? How many times is this Fox going to say this? How many times, and who's he going to say that? And what's his next phrase?
Those are safe words, brother.
His moves a million miles away of how much he needs to be validated. And as soon as I was actually thinking that, here comes Plastic African with the option pass back with the football, gives it to Vin, because he comes out and says, yeah, you asshole, you need to be validated. Plain to see.
Plastic was making it worse.
Plain to see. I mean, it just is. It's like, you can't be a good time. You're the person, to me, this is just me, you would be the guy I'd want to get away from in a room.
But he admitted that because he's trying to get away from his own self. He has so much anxiety he
So
can't even do
negative. So if
anything.
you're that negative at home, why are you spewing your
Right,
negativity
right.
all over?
He is the source. Look at the panel now. We're
Yeah,
fine. We're having
it's like
fun. We're
Plastic said. He
relaxed.
needs to be
We're
validated.
answering each other's questions. Conversation is flowing in a linear direction.
Exactly.
I think his
Exactly.
validation in human touch life has gone to zero because who the hell could stand to be with that guy physically?
Yeah, I don't know, man. You gotta push it out a bit.
I
Huh?
think that's all it is.
Whoa, easy,
And it's
Tiger.
always just room. You know
I'm
what I
just
mean?
serving you a
It's
McDonald's,
always,
man. You know, that's
never just.
the closest I want to be there. Like, would you like your chips thin or thick?
It's cool.
Plastic African. He's the Plastic African.
Hey,
Phil, we're working on a song. We're gonna make a song for African. I'm thinking about it.
I bet, man. You guys.
All right, we gotta make a song.
Phil, I'll think of a song for
I
you,
love you all.
Nunzio. I'll make you all a song. And if I love you,
You
I'll
could
love
make
you.
a disco song for
But
our
don't-
1K party, which will probably
Well,
happen
Vinny.
this week.
What party?
Yo, Vinny, what do you know about shopping carts in Kensington?
What's that?
What do you know about shopping carts in Kensington?
Shopping carts in Kensington, as they roll through the night, my mind ponders and says, wow, what a nasty sight. Things I ponder while I'm on Jeff's panel with Nunzio saying to things about a channel. Shopping cons at night in Kensington. Oh, shall you ride? I just hope you find the shopping cart where the shopping mart where you reside.
Yeah.
Hey, how'd you like that, Jeff? That was good. Off the
That
cuff.
was just off just now. Wow.
What do you think of that, Nunzio? Was that good?
Yeah, that's good.
That's all about I know about a shopping cart in Kensington.
No, you never seen the
I
video
put them
with
goddamn speakers on my goddamn riding mower.
Wait,
so
you
when
have
I got,
turquoise speakers? Let me see them.
I got a JBL turquoise.
Look at you, girl.
I love the color, Phil.
Hey man,
So
you know,
lasting
my
speakers.
tire for this color.
Who hears our voice? Do they?
See that speaker on the sand in the beach? You know, that's a beach color right there. Like,
Yeah, bro. That's that
baby.
reminder around your head. It tells you all the time you want to be. You want to beach. You want to be in this environment. You got to tell yourself that shit, and eventually happens, bro. I'll be there pretty soon.
Does it come with the little handle where you can put it on your shoulder?
Nah, not this one. That's the bigger one. This is a charge. So I mean, I can charge my phone with it.
I think
also, if
I have
wanted
something
to.
similar. Mine are black, but I think I have similar.
Wait,
Phil.
They're portable.
Phil,
Yeah.
put it on your shoulder like you're carrying a boombox back in the 80s. Hey, somebody get a pack of D batteries. We already need D
Yo,
batteries already.
that's some funny shit, Vinny, because I had one of those goddamn boomboxes. That shit took 8 to 10 batteries, bro, and they would stop for like 4 hours.
I would get the dollar store batteries because they were the cheapest.
I used to steal them. Then I got caught. It's like, motherfucker, dude.
That was
Anyways, I'm going to cut my grass, yo. It's good to see everybody on the panel, man. Salute to all of y'all, man.
Is this guy from Philly? Yo, you from Philly, dude?
Nah. I'm from Massachusetts. I was born in Puerto Rico, but I was raised in Massachusetts. I joined the Marine Corps. Now I'm in Wisconsin.
Nice.
Were you at least stealing the rechargeable batteries?
Nah, I mean this is fucking 1992, bro. This is 92. I mean, I'm 47 years old, so this is the early 90s, maybe late 80s. So like they didn't have lithium, they didn't have rechargeable shit, and if you did, that cost mad money. You needed a charger, you need all that crap. Fuck that.
Yeah, but that's my
Yeah,
point.
would
You
just
steal
feel-
it.
Yeah,
It's
I
just a
remember Radio
one-time
Shack
problem.
fucking
You just
squeezing
steal it
everybody
and
out.
it's good.
Those
It's done.
rechargeables, man. Radio
Hey,
Shack.
Vinny, I seen you on another panel. You go on the boxing streams, don't you?
Radio Shack.
Vinny
I can
Park.
see
man.
Vinny on a box.
I'll catch you on the way, yo. Hey, anyways, another thing I
Take
found
care,
about these
Phil.
goddamn
Good seeing
JBLs.
you.
Later,
These
Phil.
JBLs, you can put 200 of this together. You can link 200 speakers together to give you a fucking surround sound. That's some crazy shit. Y'all be easy, yo. Salute to all of y'all.
too.
Much love, Jeff.
Salute.
Later, Vinny.
Salute.
All right.
It's on the
What were you
hand.
saying, DayVohn? Yeah, Vinny, are you on the boxing channels?
Yeah, see, I seen him on there.
What was that, Jeff?
He said he sees you on the boxing channels.
Boxing channels.
Yeah, the boxing stream. What's
Is there another Vinny Pots and Pans running around?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a.
Are you sure it's the same Vinny?
It's his name's Vinny Pots and Pans.
Is it the pussy?
No,
Avatar?
is it? No.
Well, what other channels do you hang out at, Day?
Lots of them. I jump around,
Name
man.
one.
Because he's saying you don't go no boxing channels.
I'm
I don't go
asking
no
you
boxing
another one
channels.
beside this one, or a boxing one.
Boxing channels.
I'm just trying to see where we would see each
Phil,
other beside
The
a box.
the short bus. What's it called? What the fuck's it called? It doesn't
The
matter.
shit show.
The shit show. I think that's what it's called. No.
Oh, I was
That's
joking.
not a boxing show. Well,
Shed
it might.
show?
You know what? You might have a good point. I see the point. It could be a boxing show.
You mean the Shed Show?
The shit shows. I know I was on the shit show a few times. But
Yeah,
a long
the Shed
time ago,
Show.
Not recent. Nothing recent on the shit show.
Yeah, nothing. Leonard DeLeon.
Nah, it's been like a
Now
couple of years
he's moved
now,
on to this shit show.
Yeah, this is the new shit show.
The new shit show of choice.
This is shit show 2.0.
Yeah, Leonard DeLeon is not putting out any new content.
So salute, salute.
Wow, I don't know. Is it winding down? Did
Is it winding down?
The conversation run away with the fox? The same thing happens with Mike.
Yo, I've been watching this couple on Facebook. It's called Beck and somebody else, but these guys are fucking hysterical. You know, one of the pranks that she did on the husband was she put rat traps inside the bathtub, made him a bet, and then he goes in the bathtub.
Oh,
shit was hysterical.
What kind of fucked up couple is it? They do this for content?
That was
Yeah, they do this for content.
Wow.
I don't want to think about that.
I don't know if this is healthy for the future, for the world.
Don't worry about that. One of my friends back in the day in the military, he was dating a posh girl, and she wanted him to break in the house and mask up, restrain her. Let's say that.
Have his way. Ravish her.
Oh, I like that.
No, but that again, that's like the role play. There are people that have done like many things because of their aspect of where they sit, isn't it?
You got to respect the role play, you know.
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, you peanut butter. Is that the safe word, or pineapple? You're one of the ones that just don't like what?
Nah, lemons. Safe word.
Because Nunzio.
I mean, who knows, man? You got to say it in the language that we understand.
Everybody's got that same cat. You got that same cat as dude. I got that same cat, bro.
You got to stress the X, Jeff. And
fuck that cat, dude.
Respect it.
Man, where did all these pussies come from?
They're hairy too.
I'm about to show you the same cat. Where's this stupid fucking cat?
The cat's got his tongue.
Well, I guess I can wind it down if that's where it's.
Jeff, it's been a pleasure, Nunzio. Good seeing you again, pal. Plastic African. I'll work on
find the cat.
for you, bro. Everybody else, salute. God bless.
God bless.
Salute. I think that says it all. Jax, you got anything?
Nah.
Well,
Have a good
appreciate
one,
you
man.
coming up. It's always good to see you. Lanny, you still there? Africa, do you want to say something?
The first will be the last will be the first.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait around and see. And we got DayVohn.
Yeah, what up, dude? Shit. Everyone's dropping off. You know what? I'm gonna jump off too.
Okay,
Listen, it got weird, dude. All right.
Yes, it did. I think it started weird and it stayed weird. So thanks for coming up. Stop by again, Nunzio.
Yo, salute. Have a good one.
You too.
Remember, don't stick
Salute.
dirty needles in your arms, like, and get Hep C.
Hey. Yeah, don't do that. This is an entertainment channel. Ha ha ha. Wasn't that entertaining? All right, take care. Okay, that's it for me today. What's tomorrow? Friday? I'll probably be out tomorrow evening for a little bit. And so I'll plan to see y'all then. Have a good rest of your week. Yay, Friday. Let's do it again tomorrow. Take care. Happy, what's today? The Juneteenth. No more slaves. Yeah. All right. Talk to you later.